All right, welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Punky. I am Uncle Punky, sometimes known as Punky Dillinger. I'm glad you could join us again. We are ever growing and going forth into pop culture. Last week we talked a lot about Hot Wheels cars, Matchbox cars of many calibers within the pop culture universe. And there are many, we found out. There are lists on the internet. You can go and check them out. We used one from visual.ly. I said visually last week, and it's visual.ly. So, complete thanks to them. Their list was a little askewed. It was good stuff, but there are some things that were missed, and I'd be remiss if I did not mention, we missed last week talking about Micro Machines. And I am kicking myself about it. We might have to spend like a whole segment on that because...
Well, no, it's going to be a smaller segment because they're Micro Machines.
A smaller, honestly, we should just bump in like quick segments about a Micro Machine. We'll ramp it up in post-production, make it really fast like we're talking. With me again is my co-host and good friend, Roger Schultz.
Good to be here.
God, see, every time. We talked about that last week.
Switch
I butcher his name. I swapped the L and the O around.
Well, it's a vowel movement.
It's a vowel movement. That's fair enough. All right, we're full of bad puns and comedy today, too, apparently. We're going to go over a few things. We'll get to that in a little bit. What have you been doing this week? Anything good?
Just ramping up for Christmas.
Oh.
Getting ready for the holidays.
Ramping down for Christmas, as it would
well,
be.
Actually, seriously, with my schedule, October and then into November are really busy, so the holiday season is the slowdown. It's nice.
Well, that's good for you. Then you get
Relaxing.
quality time with family and friends and all that good stuff. Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. I've been doing a lot of the same, but mainly just work. I work. And then I work some more. And I'll probably continue to do so until my body gives out and I just die.
Yeah, then you'll keep working. You'll keep working.
Or at work. One of the two is going to happen in my life. All right.
The weekend at Bernie's you.
They probably could. Just marionette features. Somebody's just pulling strings randomly in the background. I'll ever make them dance like Marilyn Manson. That'd be great. We're going to talk about today. There's movies coming out. There's big things in pop culture that are happening, comic book related.
Important to us.
Important to us, and probably important to people who tune in, who are nerds of our caliber.
I hope if they're watching this,
that
it's important to them.
Fingers crossed. We'll knock on wood. But we're going to tackle a lot of the things that went from comic book adaptation, that are adapted to film from comic books. So I guess comic book adaptations would be correct.
And we're sticking with theatrical.
Theatrical, okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of TV shows in gray area.
Yeah, because there's a lot that started. Your big ones, your Superman, your Batman. A lot of them originated in the 40s. Yeah. So they did serials,
Captain
America, and the kids watching at home. If you don't know what a serial is, it's not breakfast cereal. It's they were black and whites that would show in movie theaters, and they were only about 15 20 minutes. Yeah, something like that. They weren't very long, so it was binge watching in the 40s meant you had to go to a theater and sit for 15 minutes if you just wanted to see Batman.
And every episode in the serial ended on a cliffhanger.
Yep.
You had to wait till next Saturday.
Yep, and it drew everybody back, which is brilliant. I mean, they try to do that with TV nowadays a lot, but the cliffhanger is different. You know what I mean?
But those were also the days where you could pay your $1 to get into the theater, and you were in there all day long.
But life was a little bit harder back then too. You know what I mean?
No internet.
No internet. Times changed. You had to walk 15 miles in the snow both ways just to get to a movie theater.
And that was July.
To catch 15 minutes of Batman or Superman. Yeah, that's in July. Well, in Michigan, it could have been August. Who knows? Before we tackle any of that stuff, in our typical, we'll do a brief comic book music thing. Because there are some things related to movies. Movie soundtracks are huge. There's not a single one lately that I can't find something that I like. Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, they blew the roof off. Quentin Tarantino have been doing it for a long time. As far as putting out some good old classic music and just rock and all this great music, set to a backdrop of these phenomenal movies. And now with superhero films, Guardians of the Galaxy is just taking that ball and run. Yeah. They're basing their movies pretty much on the soundtrack that they're making.
And they're reviving careers of bands that had one hits in the 70s. And I love that.
My daughter actually picked her up this morning, and on our way back to the house, we played some music from Guardians of the Galaxy. ELO's Mr. Blue Sky. She's like,
great.
Oh, this
Great.
is from the Star Wars movie. I'm like, it's Guardians.
Yeah.
And she's like, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right. I get them confused. I'm like, well, they're both in space. I get how that could work.
And
but
after the release of that soundtrack, ELO's touring.
They are back out, and I saw that.
Spurring that on.
They're
great.
always on my typical playlist, anyways. But I remember when Spider-Man came out, the Tobey Maguire, the first Spider-Man film that we got, had the Nickelback song.
Yeah.
That got choked down everybody's throat, which was pretty awful.
Prince and the Batman movie.
Yeah, Prince in the Batman movie, or even Kissed by a Rose.
Yeah.
In one of the other Batman movies.
And you
will
too
not be
in
named.
one of those other Batman movies.
That shall not be named. There's a couple of those that are going. But until we get to all that stuff, let's go over some births, deaths, historical moments. There's a variety of things that are important to us.
Coming and going.
So we're going to roll that beautiful footage of, we'll start in 1939, Gone with the Wind, which was the highest inflation-adjusted grossing film, that was big.
It still is huge.
It is still
has
huge.
A following.
It does still have a following. It's what we talked last time about. There's nerdgasms for about everything that you can get into. I mean, there's not a topic you can think of that somebody doesn't have a following for, or some kind of cult following for.
Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn.
I didn't give a damn about that movie either. I went back and watched it since then, and I'm like, I just don't.
It's a little long-winded.
Well, it's any movie that people are like, oh, this is an instant classic, or this is one of the. You have to watch this movie, like the Godfather series. You have to watch this movie. Oh my God, have you seen the Maltese Falcon? You know what I mean? They're like, these are your standards and your classics.
Don't tread on Casablanca though, because once you go there,
I do like Casablanca. That was a good one.
That's my favorite.
I do appreciate those movies, and I do enjoy those movies, but the term classic over the years, I think it can be changed. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do they stand the test of time?
Sometimes,
Again,
not always.
The topics, the society, the wars, everything is different. So it's hard to tell those stories that people can relate to in your time, where you are now. That's just things are changed and things are different. 1901. This is all throughout this week. Obviously not just today, all this awesome stuff happened. Beatrix Potter privately published The Tale of Peter Rabbit. It goes on to sell over 45 million copies worldwide. And you've read this?
Still read by kids.
Still read by kids.
All over the world, every day.
They have them in the libraries still of elementary schools, and I think they give it out for reading material and the such, which is good, because that's important. Kids still need to read.
And it's had animated adaptations.
It has had many. Well, no, it had that... what was that? Did they have that dark one? Was that the Beatrix Potter I'm thinking of?
No, that's Watership Down.
Watership Down.
That's a dark movie.
That's bloodshed. That one's terrifying. I love that one. December 17th of 1989, The Simpsons first premiered on television with the episode Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, which actually, that's good Christmas themed, I guess.
Technically, The Simpsons...
Tracy Ullman Show.
Episode. Yeah, Tracy Ullman Show.
Tracy Ullman Show, which is hilarious in itself. People who were born this week in history. December 15th, Don Johnson, American actor.
I went through a Miami Vice phase.
Did you?
I'm going to admit it, yeah.
The socks, the boat shoes,
yeah.
no socks.
T-shirts and jackets.
Pastel colors, yep.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week, too, because the car showed up there on that list. 1958, Richard Castle. He's a classical pianist from America. Some of his work, I'm not familiar with Richard Castle. Okay, he's not either. We put it in there. There's somebody who's a big fan of music who's watching this. You can tune me in. You can hit us up on Facebook or however you like to find us. 1970, Michael Shanks, Canadian actor, screenwriter, and director of he's from Stargate. SG-1. Did you like the Stargate?
Love Stargate. Love the first movie. It's a Stargate.
It's a Stargate. The movie was great.
The spin-off series. Multiples, all very good.
Yeah, I caught a few of the ones that popped up on TV. I dug those. One of my new favorite shows, this guy born in 1982, Charlie Cox.
Awesome.
English actor. He does Daredevil Justice, which was on Netflix. It's not anymore, and that breaks my heart. Well, the thing is, even with those canceled, they have to wait 2 years before they can do anything else with them. Because of the contract with Netflix. So either way, now that their shows are canceled, they can't pick up and do anything Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage related. But however, they kept the Punisher on. It's coming out in January. That next season of it.
We're gonna have to wait and see.
I'm sure his number is going to be up shortly after. But apparently Disney doesn't want them on the streaming service. Who knows if Marvel's going to do one? Like DC has theirs. Subdivision of Disney. Maybe Marvel could have one too. I know that DC is doing a lot darker stuff.
It'd be great.
There's worlds of content. I actually have an idea for some content for Marvel. We'll talk about.
That's another show.
I'm
okay.
When I tell you what it is, I think people are going to 100% support me. However, I gotta put it in writing that this came from me. So when Marvel starts doing stuff in the future, like, oh, we got this idea. No, you don't.
Yeah,
I had that idea, Marvel.
Stolen.
And it's documented here. All right. December 16th, 1970, Arthur C. Clarke, British science fiction writer. Many wonderful tales of the sci-fi nature. He's along the lines of your Roddenberrys and your who's the guy who wrote Conan? Conan the Barbarian.
We'll edit that in there.
All right.
All remembers the Frazettas.
That was artwork, though. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do that again for December 16th. What did Arthur C. Clarke write?
2001.
Thank you. I'm blanking today, man. I got 1,000 things on my mind. I got to turn my phone down.
Yeah,
he's the one that actually made the everything for the alien species that came to the advanced technology.
Okay.
Guy.
I'll never remember that. I'm glad he's here. All right. December 16th, 1917. Arthur C. Clarke, British science fiction writer. 2001, 2010. 1928. Philip K. Dick, American philosopher and author.
Wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Which is uber sci-fi. Yeah, but totally different than the adaptation Blade Runner.
Right. And
similar vein, but
it is a similar vein, but yeah, it's anything from book to movie adaptation, which we'll obviously discuss. Things get tweaked.
I think that was one of those scenarios, an improvement in the film.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you on that, but I just want to interject. I think that 2049 is a better adaptation of that book.
The sequel to Blade Runner.
I think it just tonally
Teenagers.
fits the
kids today.
This
is Logan.
I didn't
introduce
Logan.
No, you're allowed to read, and I'm glad you do read because that says a lot about your character. But that was Logan, Roger's child. Yeah, he can inform us of a few things that maybe we're out of touch with.
I think we're going to get schooled on a few things.
Our age shows from time to time, and it will do so throughout this. 1949, Billy Gibbons, American singer-songwriter, beard enthusiast.
Hot rod enthusiast.
Fuzzy
guitar maven.
legs enthusiast. Of course, from ZZ Top. 1961, Shane Black, American actor, director, and screenwriter of Lethal Weapon. Predator.
Yeah.
Because he was in Predator. Lethal Weapon.
Iron Man 3.
Do that to me. Iron Man 3.
Adaptation.
Yep, he did good. And a lot of people say that was like one of the better Iron Mans. I mean, the first one, I like the...
A lot of people don't like that movie. I think it's better. I like it.
They don't have to like that movie, but it had some good elements to it, and they stuck more...
Well, we finally got a Tony Stark movie.
Yeah.
Not an Iron Man.
Right.
Which is cool.
And that says a lot.
Yeah.
Because, it makes the character of... It's all incorporated.
That character
they did a good job
inside
with
the
that.
armor. That's important.
Yep. 1981, another alumni of the Netflix fall. Kristen Ritter. She was on some NBC show.
Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 3.
Oh. Did you ever watch it?
Yeah.
Comedy?
Yeah.
Situational comedy?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, I couldn't get behind it.
And
I love her as Jessica Jones.
Irony.
She is fantastic, Jessica. She's got that snarkiness, and she's just drunk all the time. She's just angry and solving mysteries. It's a wonderful thing to see, and I'm mad at Netflix, but I don't know. Their time will come.
What you gonna do?
Their time will come. December 17th, 1945, Ernie Hudson. He was a Ghostbuster.
Super nice guy.
He was also in The Crow.
Opportunity to meet him at one time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wait, was he
humble
guy?
Humble guy,
cool.
very nice, super great. You just more than happy to just hang out.
See, I love when you can bump into. And that's a beautiful thing about Comic-Cons, and we'll do one on Comic-Cons because we have mutual friends in the Comic-Con business.
And cons in general.
Lots of them.
Because there's anime cons, Comic Cons,
True.
horror cons.
Horror cons. Are there really any music cons? I mean, wouldn't a concert be considered a con?
No, but you got stuff like NAMM.
But hear me out.
You got the cruises.
Yeah.
Hear me out. What I'm saying is a concert, because these people, they get ready for a concert. People go out and they get ready for concerts. Oh, I gotta get this shirt. I got this shirt from the last show they were at, or I got
your
this.
war paint,
You know what I mean? I gotta do. The girls are doing their hair up certain ways, or gotta make sure the cool tattoo's showing. Hey,
Got to plan.
I got this. Look, I got this sweet tattoo. This band I love. I gotta have it out so everybody can see it. Check it out, you guys. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Actually, newest edition.
Yeah, our new edition. Little Logan got a Nine Inch Nails tattoo. I got the Misfits on me. You know, these are all things that we know and that we love. They mean something to us.
Of course.
So we keep them with us.
Yeah. And you can buy merchandise at concert.
Yeah.
Just like at a con.
I'm just saying.
You come back with a T-shirt.
Sometimes there are artists there.
Concert.
You pay a little extra. You can do a meet and
I'm putting pieces together here for people. Okay.
You're
I'm reshaping the world today. All right. 1946. Eugene Levy. How are ya?
Oh yeah.
Canadian actor, director, screenwriter. A lot of people know him from the American Pie movies.
SCTV.
Which was a Saturday Night Live for Canadians.
Yeah.
That's all it was. A lot of improv. Gave us the Mackenzie brothers.
Gave us the Mackenzies. Gave us
The Count.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I keep drawing a blank.
Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Stewardesses.
John Candy.
John Candy. Yep.
Was on SCTV, and they had so many good people that came from that show. 1953, President Bill Pullman was born from Independence Day. I don't know his presidential name with that. He's always going to be my president, Bill Pullman. Have you seen him? Do you remember the sequel? Did you see him in the second Independence
I did
Day?
not see the
Giant
second
beard. He had the beard going. He looked good. I like the beard.
Got it from Billy
Producer's
Gibbons.
shaking his head. I don't like it. Yeah, Billy Gibbons. Because they share a week. You don't like the beard either? On President Pullman? It was good.
I like the beard.
It made him look older, and considering the post-apocalyptic alien invasion circumstances, he pulled.
Like that's where you remember.
Yeah, that's exactly what I remember him from. I know he was in other stuff, but don't judge me for this. 1973, Rian Johnson, American director, producer, and screenwriter. You see his name a lot lately. Rian Johnson had some stuff to do with Star Wars. Yes. And mainly just Star Wars. 7, 8. I'm sorry, the latest Star Wars that just came out.
I gotta let you know now, or
Please
else people
do.
are gonna castrate you. It's Ryan.
It is Ryan?
It's Ryan.
I like Rian.
How is she castrated?
At least I didn't call him Rain.
Rain.
I didn't dyslexic that. I'll butcher your name all day, but I said his name just wrong. 1975, Mila Jovovich. Did I get that one right?
Yeah, it was like way better.
She was, of course, from the
Yeah,
Resident
that
Evil
one.
series, and she was in one of the Blue Lagoons. Return to Blue
Good
Lagoon,
about
I think, and she was like 14, and that movie's kind of inappropriate anyways, let's be honest.
All the Blue Lagoons are inappropriate.
All the Blue Lagoons are appropriate.
All of them.
Very, very inappropriate. December 18th, as we move on, 1886, Ty Cobb, baseball player, famous baseball player and manager, outstanding player, if anybody follows baseball. 1950.
Didn't he invent the Cobb salad?
No.
No? Okay.
No. 1954, Ray Liotta, of course, from Goodfellas. Many, many other things. Don't know. Silence of the Lambs. Or, Hannibal.
Hannibal.
Thank you. It was a Silence of the Lambs. He's still kicking it. Last I heard from him, he was trying to hawk that quitting smoking cigarettes commercial.
I didn't think I would enjoy it, but his interpretation of Sinatra in the Rat Pack was really good.
Okay. See, I haven't caught that. I do like Rat Pack music. You know, I like the swinging
good
50s
biopic.
and
Fantastic.
yeah, stuff like that. No, I'm gonna have to catch that one. 1963, the ever handsome, ever radiant Brad Pitt, the luxurious haired Brad Pitt. Now he's back with the Jennifer Aniston and they have a baby. I don't know what's going on in the world, but we went to the local grocery store and of course all the magazines say something about something. His name was there. That's why I share this information.
The more babies Brad Pitt makes, the better the world will be. So
Prettier the world will be. All right, 1964, because he said so. Stone Cold Steve Austin was born. American wrestler, actor. He was in Expendables. He's produced a couple things. I don't know if it was just with WWE films, but he's done other. He's one of my favorites, hands down, because my stepdad kind of looks like him, and that kills me. I don't know why. It's one of my favorite things. December 19th, 1920, Little Jimmy Dickens, American singer-songwriter and guitarist, known for songs like Jimmy Dickens. I gotta go through my arsenal of information now.
I cannot help you on this one.
Hold on, we're gonna have to edit that out. Hold on a
Cogs
second.
turning.
Hold on, we're gonna edit that out. Little Jimmy.
We're putting you on blast this week.
You're live right now.
Oh, am I? Oh, that's gonna suck even worse. All right, 1920. Take two. December 19th, 1920. Little Jimmy Dickens, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist, known for songs like "May the Bird of Paradise," "Fly Up Your." I don't even know if I want to know the rest of this one.
Fly up your nose.
It is "Fly Up Your Nose." You do know this one?
I know that song.
Wow. See, but you don't. You looked at me like I was crazy when I said Little Jimmy Dickens.
I look at you when you're crazy. When
No,
you say
I guess
everything.
that's true. Sleeping at the Foot of the Bed, Hillbilly Fever, My Heart's Bouquet, I Got a Hole in My Pocket. These are all just classics from Little Jimmy Dickens. They're probably worth checking out. You know what? We should see if they're public domain. We can use them for the show. It'd be great. 1942, another part of the great wrestling community, Mean Gene Okerlund. He was always his little tuxedo suit and getting between these just massive dudes that are just like, let me tell you something, and they're just so animated, and he's just like, Mean Gene Okerlund here with Ric Flair.
Now, saw him at a convention just a few weeks ago. He looks exactly the same.
How could he not? He reminds me of the Micro Machines guy.
Yeah.
He
did all
for a little throwback.
He did all
that
of
was
his aging in the first 30 years.
Yeah.
And he maintained.
Yeah, and then like you had that Dick Clark serum. You hit that one age, keep that until you die. Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. I remember he was always out there like yelling at Mean Gene.
Roddy
yeah,
Piper.
but he'd always deal with those guys, and he was just so. He'd just be like
stoic.
He would. He'd just conduct his interview like, all right, well that was the Hulkster. Let's go back to you on the floor to Vince. It's like, oh my God, that would have been an awesome job, or just being a wrestling manager. We used to go out there and just talk smack, maybe get hit with a chair every once and again.
Well, nothing phased him. He knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming. 1969, Christy Swanson, Buffy, American actress, which I had her confused. I don't know why with Helen Slater. I thought she was in Supergirl. She was not.
Blonde actresses.
There's
so few of them.
80s and 90s, they kind of had that same face after a while. Helen Hunt and whoever else. But these were more the teenage blonde actresses of the time. 1972, they had faces. 1972, Alyssa Milano, Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
She was Tony Danza's little girl.
That inappropriate vampire movie she was in.
The inappropriate vampire movie she was in, and probably a few other ones. Charmed, she was in Charmed about the witchery and the witchcraft. I had such a huge crush on her when I was growing up. Because we were roughly the same age.
You kind of aged with her,
and like Punky Brewster.
Yeah.
Selena Moonfry, because we're the same age, literally the same age. I think
Same
her birthday. Shoot, I think her birthday is roughly around the same time as mine. I think that was what it was. So, December 20th brings us 1946. Dick Wolf, American director, writer, producer, and screenwriter. 1948. Alan Parsons of the Alan Parsons Project, a little prog rock. That's when things started to get a little spacey.
Well, things were kind of spacey already.
Things were spacey already, but
commercial
they really push it. Speaking of spacey, 1940, Frank Zappa.
Oh, yeah.
American singer, songwriter, guitarist, producer. He died in 93, which seems like forever ago. It kind of was. But his albums, the weirdness level gets cranked up as they go. Songs about Eskimos, songs about...
Watch out where the Huskies go.
Watch out where the Huskies go. Don't eat that yellow snow. It's just, I mean...
And then him on Capitol Hill against the housewives of the senators that started the labeling.
Oh, yeah, with Tipper Gore and
Tipper Gore, and he was one of the big spearheads from the other side.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
a lot of people thought that
Zappa,
because
Jello Biafra, and Dee Snider, and Rob Halford were huge in that.
Yeah, and so was
because they wanted to make changes because they were trying to restrict music and not giving the kids
Country Road.
John Denver.
John Denver was also on that.
Pre-plane crash.
You can't blame them. And you got movies and books and stuff doing that. You can't come down on the music. You got to keep it.
Music's important. 1948, Samuel L. Jackson. That motherfucker was born.
Motherfucker, are you kidding me? We bleep.
Also, I got December 15th.
Deaths.
These are deaths. These people who died. Oh my God, Walt Disney died. Did you guys know this?
Well,
Walt Disney said?
He's not. He's frozen.
He's still on ice.
He's still frozen underneath the Matterhorn.
I'll have a Walt on ice, please.
It's underneath the Matterhorn.
She really needs to
or up in the peak of the Matterhorn. I can't remember. There's like a secret some lab or something in the Matterhorn where Walt Disney's either head is frozen.
It's all BS.
Yeah, I think they brought it up in Futurama. He comes up a few times. 2010, Blake Edwards, American director, producer. Pink Panther series, which ties into what we're talking about loosely. Cartoons.
Other way around. Movies came first.
Yeah.
The movies came before the Pink Panther animated?
The animated series was built off from the opening credits.
God, I hate when I learn things.
Now, could you imagine if they did that with Bond? Just the triffiest commercials.
Right.
Kaleidoscope movies.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it would be. December 16th, 1989, Lee Van Cleef. His name's hard to say really fast. He was in the ninja one that I mentioned earlier. He had a TV series where he was a ninja. He was the Ninja Master. He's also been in Spaghetti Westerns, Escape from New York. He's turned up about everywhere. Chris Farley, He died in 1997. He was one of my favorite members of Saturday Night Live from the 90s. Absolutely. Beverly Hills Ninja. Anything else he turned up to, getting his nose bit off by a Saigon whore.
Sadly followed in Belushi's footsteps, though.
Yeah. And what, John Candy? It was not too long after John Candy, I think, had died too. We were losing all our big guys for a while, and that's tough for big comedians. I don't know why that is. That they just have shorter lifespan, I guess. 2000. Well, cocaine doesn't help either. 2006. Joseph Barbera, American animator, director, and producer, co-founded Hanna-Barbera.
The basis of most of our
childhoods.
Yeah,
our Saturday mornings.
Yep.
Which now are all left to Boomerang. So their legacy continues. I mean, for people who can afford to get the Boomerang on their TVs, they still got your Scooby-Doos and
they
such.
Keep re-releasing them, remasters and
Yep.
DVDs and all that. It's great.
Super Friends.
Yep.
I mean, that was a big part of mine that took me back.
Well, weird one. Hanna-Barbera produced Kiss Meet the Phantom of the Park.
Yep, they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
All Hanna-Barbera sound effects. It's amazing.
Well, that's weird. All right. Within the same week, 1971, Roy O. Disney died. American banker and businessman. He helped co-found Walt Disney Company. So Walt's his brother within the same week. Yep. 2009, American actress Brittany Murphy passed away. She was known for movies like Sin City, which is going to tie into what we're going to talk about in our next segment.
And King of the Hill.
Oh. Yep, she was the voice of King of the Hill. True. Yeah, I forgot about that one. But yeah, so today we tackle adaptations of comic books into film. There's been a mess of them throughout the years. We'll give you a good A to Z.
They're bigger than ever right now.
They are bigger than ever. I mean, there's not anything that you can go to the theater that's not come from graphic novel, comic book, cartoon, animated series. Netflix is picking up a bunch that they're doing. I think they're about to release Cowboy Bebop. Live
Especially
action.
a lot of things people don't even realize started as graphic novel or comic.
Right. So
There's
we're gonna
some surprises on this list.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you were surprised by a couple. I know most of them, but there are a couple. That's why.
Don't lie. You
and
know there were some gaps there.
There are. No, I'm not saying there's not a couple gaps, but this is why we got the boy to help us out today, because he's going to fill in some stuff. Because my memory it's not what it was in my 40 plus years on this planet. So we need a gap filler. So we'll get to that right coming up in our next segment.
Awesome.
All right, let's do that.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. All right, back to segments. We are, as promised, going to discuss adaptations of comic books into film, and we have a giant list. It's a really big list, and a lot of them are. We're not going to talk about all the multiple movies of them.
We're going to skip some dogs in there.
We might skip some that are in there, and we were actually just discussing in between. Some of them originated from comic books, in a sense. Some of them were cartoons, some of them were from old children's books, and then comics, or cartoons, then comics, and then, big feature films.
Oh, it's a confusing mess.
So it is a confusing mess, but for the most part, we're talking about the adaptations of comic books. As we mentioned, a lot of them come from serials from the 1940s. Your Superman, your Batman, Captain Marvel was one, Captain America was another one, and a lot of those,
Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks, which was a DC property of pilots, pretty much. They were like World War I pilots.
Biplane pilots.
Yep.
Biplanes and such.
And they were all specialists.
Yeah, each one had a neat technique or some kind of skill, like an A-team-like thing. So yeah, we'll start off with the numerical part, which is 30 Days of Night, which I think is a fantastic take on the vampire films.
It's on both levels. I like both.
The graphic is very dark.
In the movie.
Very dark, and the artwork in it is just gorgeous, and the covers are terrifying.
The covers are just
the covers are dynamite, and that's that's exactly what draws you into it. And they did 2 of those. I kind of like the second one better.
Really?
I do. I kind of dug the second one. The first one was good.
I like the first one.
The first one was good. I was just a bigger fan of the second one. Maybe it was because no Josh Hart in it.
Yeah, it's totally fair.
That could have done it.
Justifiable.
30 Days of Night are a really interesting one that I'm personally invested in, because David Slade, the guy that wrote it as a comic book.
Okay.
Because he was inspired by comics, he loved comics and movies. He was a film writer, so he wrote it as a comic book, as like an homage. Shot down like 100 times. So he was like, screw this, I'm gonna make it a movie. Yeah. Shot down 100 times. Wow. And then a friend of his was like, I've gotten in, you should pitch it as a comic book again. He adapted his screenplay based on his comic book back into a comic book.
Wow.
It got made, and they made that into the movie.
Wow. And that was around the time that producers and all them, they're trying to find content to make into movies.
Yeah,
I don't know why there's this giant lull of ideas, but they're like, you know what? We have this wealth of market of comic book movies, and a lot of them are starting to work. Yes,
why not?
We're going to scoop this right up, and we're going to do it because it's different from the other comic book movies.
Exactly, and
I love that story because how that it's so cyclical.
Yeah,
cyclical.
That you know, it started as this, became that, went back to this, and then ended up where.
And a lot of things. There's a couple things on this list that wind up doing that.
Doing that a lot, yeah, and it shows exactly that time.
And classic artist and writer Frank Miller. He's done Dynamite stuff over the years. He's given us Batman, Dark Knight Returns.
Dynamite, and he's
The Dark Knight,
and
Dark
he's
Knight
done
Returns. Yep.
Badass crazy.
Badass crazy. Yep. 300. He gave us 300. It is not historically accurate.
Oh.
It is loosely based on history.
The incident happened.
The incident happened.
But
it
it's
wasn't
certainly
King
high
Leonidas.
fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is high fantasy, and
there were no giants.
and that translated beautifully into film. Which, of course, we're going to talk about another one that he had part in. I'm sure you guys already know what I'm talking about.
Oh, we're going to talk about a couple.
That visually it transferred well.
But that was a seamless I mean, because those
comics,
cells on film
Yeah.
looked like panels of a comic.
To the point that the sequel, the book didn't come out until after the movie, but they used it to make the visuals feel like that.
Yep.
Like it has a distinctive style.
Next on our list, a lot of people could argue that it's based on a movie. Well, it was based on a movie. They made it into a comic book, Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah. And pretty much in title alone, because the movies had nothing to do with the comics.
Nope.
But that concept, which
draw.
spawned from the second Predator.
Yep, Predator 2.
Predator 2.
Because they had the skull in the ship. They go,
So it tied in.
Cool?
Yeah, why didn't we just do this? And they're like, all right, let's make a comic book about it.
And I believe
remember that series.
I believe it happened within the year. With by the end of that quarter, they had put out the first issue.
And they haven't released a Alien vs. Terminator, because I know there's one of those.
There's
a Predator
an Alien
Terminator.
versus
There's an Alien
Superman
versus
and Batman.
Superman.
Everybody.
Predator and Batman. I've read through those series.
Oh, the Predator Batman's
those
great.
are pretty good.
Those
They have a good.
My favorite of those is there's an Alien versus Predator versus Justice League meets Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's it's like, you know what?
There's a kitchen sink in there
How much
somewhere.
That's
pop
a fan
culture
film.
can we pit against each other that it really makes some bank off of? And that's a
Now,
smart way to go.
There was a fan-made film, which is on YouTube, same place, which is a Batman versus Predators.
Okay.
And for a fan-made film, it's phenomenal.
They had one
it's
of
top-notch.
like a Wolverine Batman one, I think. Somebody did that.
Oh, the
they-
versus,
they-
yeah.
Yeah, the versus Wolverine Wonder Woman, which was pretty good. And
There's a lot of great stuff in there.
A lot of
put some
people don't
effort.
give fan-made stuff a chance. They're like, ugh. I mean, I honestly, I get fooled all the time if I'm looking for a trailer on YouTube or anything.
You'll find a fan made.
I'll be like,
one.
I've been waiting for this trailer to come out. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. I know that's clips of this. I'm like, hold on a minute. I've seen all this. This is ridiculous. American Splendor. I'm not horribly familiar with. A graphic novel.
Graphic novel.
Released in 2003. Became a movie.
Yep. American Splendor. It's really awesome. It's a man. A lot like us, that's invested in pop culture and the media. It's 100% autobiography. He wrote the book. He produced the movie. He starred as himself in the movie.
Wow.
It's dedication.
That's a way to come up in that then.
Really, it is.
Good for him. That's
exactly.
smart.
You know, no matter your opinions on it, that's.
And I'm sure people are knocking on his door now. You know, because that's a big accomplishment to just come from.
Yeah,
I have this graphic novel.
And they were both successful.
Yeah.
And
excellent. Good.
Yeah.
See, that's one I'm going to have to check out then. Ant-Man and Wasp. That's an easy one. Most of your Avengers are going to pop up on this list, of course.
Oh, for sure.
Your Spider-Mans, your Fantastic. All your mainstays of the big comic book world are in this list. Aquaman. He did have a TV pilot at one time.
It is the best train wreck.
Coming up in our next segment, we're going to talk about the things that should have been or should not have been.
Wonderful.
Art School Confidential was 2006.
Another one of those movies that no one spawned from graphic novels or comics.
Yeah. And there's some things on Netflix that have popped up nowadays that we were discussing that the kids love, like those teenage dramas and stuff that the kids are really, really into. It's like you have no idea that, you know, long before all this was.
Hey, don't knock the internet.
You know, I'm not knocking the internet. Well, I'm half knocking the internet. I'm obviously using the internet for its purposes, but let's be honest. Atomic Blonde is a newer film that's coming out. James McAvoy, the Charlize Theron, who
and they're
is
both
quite the ass kicker. Anytime I see her doing action stuff, it reminds me of Aeon Flux. I don't know why.
That drastically different movie adaptation from the book. One's a political thriller, one's an
espionage film.
But wow, what a good movie! In that fight sequence,
and that does happen in a lot of these movies. We said 300 is kind of an exception. I mean, Frank Miller stayed very true, to the movie, which he also.
Yeah. And there certainly are.
RoboCop 3, Frank Miller was in there. He did a lot of the. Yeah, he wrote that. For those of you who maybe copped out in RoboCop 3, you're like, oh, a third one? No, a third one.
If you want to find a gem in there, he wrote a treatment for RoboCop 2, never went through. He made it a comic book.
And he was in RoboCop 3.
He was.
Yep. The Avengers, there's many of them now, and coming soon. Coming soon is already it hits me real close. The wounds are still fresh.
I'm still hurting from the snap.
And we watch it often, and every time.
Exactly.
Every time, my wife and I are sitting there like, it's like, oh,
it's you know what? Again.
It's like, it's all coming up. No, I'm good. I'm good, you guys.
We were talking earlier about the adaptation and what that's really coming from.
That one's a really interesting adaptation because
the Infinity Gauntlet.
A lot of people think so, but not as much as you might expect.
Right.
Primarily,
there are elements plugged into it.
There are elements plugged into it, a lot of themes and stuff.
But it seems like they went with the more current Infinity Wars.
Not even.
Okay.
Actually older. The movie adapts more tonally and thematically from a book called the Thanos Quest that came out a year before Infinity Gauntlet. It's Jim Starlin, really great stuff, gorgeous painted artwork.
Gorgeous. And Jim Starlin, he can do no wrong.
No.
He can do no wrong.
He can do no wrong. But yeah, it's really, it's
last
really
time he's on the
show. Hey man, if you can't accept opinions on the internet, you might not want to be here.
I can't, and that's why we're doing the show. I was going to go on a side note, but people are expecting, Infinity War and the Infinity Quest, Infinity Gauntlets, and all this stuff. They want their Adam Warlock.
They want their Adam Warlock and
the other version of Adam Warlock. They also want him and
her.
And they want Pip the Troll, which there was a lot of talk that they're like, little guy from Game of Thrones, the painter Dinklage.
Yep,
they're like, he's going to be in it.
It's
got to be Pip the Troll. How could you? Who else are you going to cast him as?
Well, especially when
you cast him as a giant.
Especially when
casting
you tease Adam Warlock.
He was great
casting.
Right, and they teased him, and now James Gunn and his stuff.
But we're holding out hope that movie's going to happen. It's going to be great. I'm
still holding out hope. Just give it to Taika.
Give it to Taika Waititi.
Give it to Taika.
Yeah, throw
if anybody else can handle the space stuff, which we know he can, obviously from the Thor Ragnarok and such. But it's just it'd be a brilliant move and a good thing to do. And I do hope they add Adam into it because that'll be an interesting new element. Yeah. But of course, Marvel's going into their foray, of course, into the universe now, which is good. All right, from 1996, I'll admit I watched it. Barbed Wire, which was Pamela Anderson was in it, and it was Stan Lee had something to do with it.
Yeah, he wrote the character.
He wrote the character.
That costume stuck. That people latched onto that film's costume.
And how many barbed wire tattoos came out of that?
A million.
Way too many.
Yeah, thank you, 1996. We appreciate that. You gave us Godsmack. Good job. Barbarella was 1958, which is a
68.
I'm sorry, 68. 1968, which was a fantastic sci-fi movie for 1968. The campiness is off the charts. It is funny. It is colorful, and it's of course the ever gorgeous Jane Fonda.
Exactly.
I mean, she still looks good for her age.
Oh yeah.
Which I've always interpreted. To me, Barbarella is kind of like the '60s version of our '80s Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah,
they have that campiness. They have that bright, bombastic color.
Very much so.
And you've been introduced to it, and you appreciate it, which is good. And see, it's good that your dad's willing to share that kind of stuff. Or
he did not show me Barbarella.
But no.
I think he was embarrassed.
But what I'm saying is that he showed you enough stuff of his interest that it sends you to go out.
I can go out
and be like, you know what? I've heard of this, and this revolves around sciencey thing and other things that I enjoy and my dad enjoys. It's like I'm gonna check this out.
And with Barbarella, a lot of that came from my love of heavy metal, which deeply came from him. The music, the movie, the books. Barbarella, most people don't know, is the first heavy metal adaptation into a film. Yeah,
that is true, and we're going to talk about that too in a little while. Batman.
Oh, there's a whole lot of Batman.
15 worms.
What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. and there's a couple more coming out soon.
Yeah, and that's just theatrical release.
And that's
Batman
just theatrical
films.
release. And we mentioned that Lego Batman's on this list. We're like, well, it's like it is adapted from a comic book character, and yes,
That it
it's
is.
adapted from
And
a toy of a comic book character of a video game of a comic book character.
And there's a
It's
lot. There's a lot
homage
of
to a lot of comic
Yeah.
a
things.
lot of deep comic references in the
Yeah.
Batman Lego movie.
Yeah.
And it's got, of course, the original Batman and Robin. It's got the '66 Batman the movie.
Yep.
We did mention the serials. They ran about 20 of those in 1941.
Two different arcs.
The major release
different Batmans.
animated feature, Mask of the Phantasm,
Fantastic.
which a lot of people are
One of my
saying
favorite
that's
Batman films, if not
and a
my
lot of people are
favorite.
saying hands down that's one of their favorite and one of the best Batman.
Yep,
It's well written. Animation's got that
Paul
old
Dini.
Paul Dini.
Paul Dini.
Knocks it out of the park as
He
he
does
always
great
does.
work. Oh, he always has. And I'm looking forward to more Batman. I'm excited. I hated Ben Affleck at first. The idea of it, I'm like the guy from Mallrats, the dickweed from Mallrats.
Exactly.
You're gonna get the guy who works at Casual Mail to come down and beat up a bunch of people in the alleyways. And then I saw it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, as soon
works
as I
as
saw
normal.
him move in the costume,
Or
it
even
clicked
as
with
Bruce
me.
Wayne. Honestly, that's one of the biggest selling points to me because a lot of them, they have to revolve the story around fucking Bruce Wayne, muddle it around the cave or the house or his office or whatever it may be. But you got to have somebody who can pull off that character where he's all, hey, I like to drink and, I'm a billionaire. It's
His
cool.
Bruce Wayne gave me very hard Frank Miller vibes.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted to do, and that's what they were doing with the Batman vs Superman.
Oh,
that's what
of
they wanted to
course,
do.
of course.
Oh, the other animated one. I'm sorry, the Killing Joke that popped
Killing
down there.
Joke, yes.
Killing Joke.
Mark Hamill,
The
of course, coming back
Exactly.
So good.
And our
the Joker.
first instance of Alan Moore on this list. And
Alan
he pops
Moore.
up a couple of more
to.
times.
Yeah, Alan Moore he's a crazy cat, man.
He is
crazy.
He's
nuts.
still a recluse.
He's
He's
produced
still
some gold though.
That he
he's
has.
produced
the
some
whole
gold.
Watchmen thing that's coming out. Don Johnson, again, he's coming out in that Watchmen, that new series that
Yeah.
HBO is doing. Which I don't know if it has to do with the Watchmen or something.
Yeah, we don't
but
know the story
I
of
think
it.
something
We just
about
know it's happening.
Ozymandias is included or something like that, but it's neither here nor there. It's not out yet. Well, I'm not going to speculate yet.
I'm just gonna say we're gonna just ignore Joel Schumacher's Batman altogether, right?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
He did a Batman movie? I don't know. That's not a thing.
That one episode of the show, the animated series, is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
maybe.
about?
Clearly, that's it.
Big Hero
Oh,
6 is on this list. Is animated. Marvel property.
A really interesting Marvel property.
It
I
really
personally
is.
loved Big Hero 6
It
before
was-
that movie came out.
It was dynamite. Yep. I've read a couple
It's-
issues.
It's fantastic stuff. Worlds apart. Completely different, using different characters,
Yep.
different tones, different social issues, different setting.
But it really worked
it
for
captured a feeling, and it really nailed
Stan
it.
Lee makes a
Stan Lee
cameo.
makes a wonderful
If you
cameo
haven't seen
in
that
it.
with your kids, watch it to the end.
Exactly, exactly.
Also, guy who was in Deadpool, who played Weasel.
TJ Miller.
TJ Miller
Miller.
Yep.
also does a voice in that too. There's
That he
actually a
does.
few good voices in there, and it
course
was a
there
cute
are.
movie. My kids love it, of course, because it's this big balloon-like creature.
Oh,
and,
he's
I mean,
awesome.
he's just
Harry Baby.
Harry Baby. That was the one thing they said it for like what 2 months straight. After
Oh, yeah.
Every time a cat come by,
Yeah.
Harry Baby.
If you haven't read it, if you haven't seen it, do it.
The next movie is what Kevin Feige says is the greatest Marvel movie ever made, Black Panther, which, I mean, it was a good movie. I have nothing against it. There's
No.
nothing I could say that I didn't like about the movie. I just don't think it was.
I don't.
I
It's
have a
not
few
my
more on their
personal
list.
favorite,
They-
but
they
it's
keep
certainly
getting
up
better.
there.
No, well, they are getting better,
So
but
each one's better than one before.
and each
So-
Avengers that come
Oh, yeah.
out is more. I mean, it just depends on
Easily top
who's
three
writing
for
the
me.
characters and how they're involved in the storyline. Really, I mean, Black Widow is pretty much in every movie, but she's not always. You know what I mean? It's
She's
like,
not always as present as she is. in
Yeah,
others.
not as always as she's not always as present. I'm glad they're going to do something with giving her her own movie.
Oh, for sure.
That'd
It's
be
well
kind of a
deserved.
cool spy James Bondy kind of a thing, except she's punching people in the face a lot more. I'm assuming. You mentioned the Blackhawks.
Blackhawks.
Serial, like I said, that was just binge watching at a movie theater back in the
it
40s.
was- yeah.
I mean, but you still had to
Pre-TV
wait
TV.
while they were making them,
Mhm.
and then
And a lot of
they'd send
a lot
that
of the
film
time
reel
that was
out
the
to you.
case. They would make it
Yeah.
the week of.
And like we were saying,
Mm-hmm.
baby steps. These all had to theatrically start someplace.
And
Yeah.
before that was News of the World, 1941. Germany invades Poland.
And you know, the price of freedom is high. Always has been.
Wesley Snipes really wants to come back. He really,
He's gunning
he's
for it.
really
He's
pushing.
I think he can do it.
However, also John Boyega from Star Wars really threw in his hat about
That he
being
did.
Blade. Blade is on this list. The Trinity
Love
of
those
Blade.
Blade movies. really
I liked
do.
them. They got a little campy and weird. Of course, you had Ryan Reynolds. Anything. I like that anyways.
I loved Hannibal.
I don't
in that
even
movie. It
care
was
what character
fun.
he was. It was great for me because he's pretty much just doing the same thing that he always does with his characters. You know what I mean? And it's great to watch.
He's snarky. He's vulgar.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
talented, but still arrogant. It works.
Stephen Dorff.
Stephen
Dorff was in the first one.
Yeah.
I mean,
voice of Chucky.
and Wesley Snipes was great.
Yeah.
That he was.
I mean, he knows his stuff, and he's fast, and he does his stunts. I mean, I thought he was incredible, but I mean, nowadays, I did see him in that third Expendables movie, and he was good in that.
Okay.
I didn't see the third one.
Those are one of those you just. I'm gonna shut my brain off when I watch
just-
things explode.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want to watch 80s action heroes.
I'm not gonna pay
blow up
attention. I'm just gonna
everything.
have a fun time.
But
Yeah.
but Blade, outside of the first Tim Burton Batman, is one of those comic book adaptation films that it turned the atmosphere and feel on its ear and went with a direction that no one kind of expected from the
That
comic.
R-rated, dark.
R-rated, dark with an aesthetic and look, and it worked.
They all dress like they
And-
lived in the Matrix.
And without that,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have genre films and superhero stuff as we do
Yeah.
today. You know, look at Guardians or Ant-Man.
What was it? They were like, oh, Black Panther's our first black superhero. No. No, he wasn't. I mean, Blade wasn't really a superhero, but he did have superhuman abilities, and he was a hero. It just, he fought different
It was
bad
very
guys.
different, but it certainly paved the way.
Let's go down to Bounty Killer. Bounty Killer, I don't know too much about. This one I'm unfamiliar with. You?
Not familiar with him?
Not familiar.
Also unfamiliar with Bounty
Okay.
Killer.
Bounty Killer, we're gonna have to look into.
Guess what? We're going to get a lot of messages.
I can tell you about
that's
Bulletproof
fine.
Monk, though.
Bulletproof Monk is next on our list from 2003. I am familiar with that one. Chow Yun-Fat was in it. Sean William Scott and some girl. Don't remember the girl.
her.
Some girl.
Oh, yeah.
I briefly remember that. I'm like, why is Sean William Scott doing kung fu on my TV? I don't get. But it was very a lot of wire tricks, and it had some cool scenes
cheesy.
to it.
It
is cheesy.
It's a fun book. It's a fun kind of
It's
ride
just one of
movie.
those,
It's not
and
something
I think
you
it's
really
one of
can pay
those that,
attention
like,
to.
you know what? Let's just do a fun movie adaptation of this. They're like, oh, this book's great.
We're
You know
gonna
what I
make
mean?
people spin in the air, and
Yeah.
they're gonna protect a secret
And
scroll
it
that
stayed
makes
pretty
you
close to the
immortal.
source material,
That it
which was
did.
nice. So that wasn't
Well,
too bad.
it's that level you go between the Expendables and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just fun. Just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, and that was what movies were for before the internet and society ruined everything. I mean, then before everybody started forcing their opinions down your throat, everybody just got all cynical and like, oh, well, I don't want to watch this now because so many people are shitting on it. And then you go and you watch it. You go and you watch it, and you're like, oh, I love this movie. I'm like, what are they talking about? This is one of my favorites now.
Hell, look at Blade Runner, Star Wars.
Right? Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like,
There's
I've never
messages
seen it.
in
I
there,
don't
and
know
they
about
weren't
it.
well received.
No.
But you still go into it, and you go, man,
And
that's
they're
really
considered
important
classics
to me.
that stand the test of time,
Yeah.
and they're flawed over time.
Everything is.
Right,
So are
exactly.
we.
There's movies nowadays I can watch and be like, oh, come on, that's just ridiculous. I got that third guy in the back just bumped his head on the fucking cabinet, Captain America makes our list. There was one in 1990, Red Brown.
Yep.
Yes, the rubber ears.
It was also in the
ears.
movie Space Mutiny, which is another horrible feature we'll tackle again sometime. Then you had as many sequels, the Civil War tie-in, which they did in the comics, which was more of a recent, a more recent event in the comics that they turned right into a movie, which worked.
2005, I believe.
And it worked really
Marvel.
well, and it was a good way to tie everything into the new stuff. I mean, Marvel is doing a great job with connecting their dots and connecting things together, and all these underlying stuff.
They've got a roadmap that is deep.
Spider-Man is the best example of that.
And we're gonna do a Marvel vs. DC discussion one of these times on the show because DC can do animated stuff that Marvel is not doing. Marvel is doing feature movie stuff
That DC
is just, I don't know, they just can't wrap their head around. So,
See,
we'll talk about that
I'm a
sometime
little
soon.
worried about the state of DC's animated stuff in the past couple of years
Right.
since they've gone to this
Right.
connected universe.
Well, like I
don't-
watched that Bad Blood, caught on Netflix, and
Right.
that was really good.
They're
You know what I
fun.
mean?
I don't.
The style of their animation is good.
Yeah.
Justice League Dark is really good.
I really enjoy Justice
Yeah,
League Dark.
I mean, they got some excellent stuff as far as animated, but
I don't think it's to the same consistency as it used to be.
no. Well,
a few years ago.
they're still
But
growing
it's
and trying stuff. But
it's
now
definitely
with their
still
streaming service and a
far
lot
better.
darker things that they can do, it's gonna change gears
Oh, yeah.
completely. Captain Battle, Legacy War from 2013. I don't know that one.
I don't know.
I just like saying Captain Battle.
I've seen the trailer, and
you?
Captain Battle is all I need.
Perfect. That's sold. Captain Marvel. She's getting her own movie.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
Soon. That trailer was dropped not too long ago, and then shortly
second
after
trailer just
was
a
the
couple of
Avengers trailer, which was also dropped, and holy cow!
And she was hinted.
I'm
What a
excited for
1-2
this.
punch.
And she was hinted at in the post-credit scene.
Yes,
in
and
Infinity War.
I'm super pumped for this. It looks great. I saw her. She was in Kong. The actress who was in Kong.
And most
Brie
people,
Larson.
Brie Larson. Most people don't realize this is not her first Marvel role.
No.
We'll get to that later on down the
She
list.
comes up again.
It's
Yep.
very interesting.
Casper from 1995. Casper the Ghost. Christina
Friendly
Ricci was
Ghost.
in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ghostbusters.
Ghost of a little boy who died.
What was it? Dan
Dan
Aykroyd was
Aykroyd
in
made
that.
He made a cat. Yep, as a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
It's
He was running
fun.
out of the house. I don't
I
know why
love it.
Casper was so scary to him. But
It was
no,
the Three
I-
Stepbrothers.
It was the
Yeah.
Three Stepbrothers.
But yeah, based on a comic book.
Based on a
Yeah.
comic book.
Kids' fair book.
But the comic book was based on a children's book.
children's
Yep,
book, a picture
from
book.
Yeah.
Way before that. So, and that translated well. That's a good family fun movie if anybody with kids.
It definitely is.
I mean, I've watched it with mine. They loved it. Catwoman
They're starting to place
from 2004. I probably should have bypassed that one, but then I said it out loud.
factor.
What?
She looked really good.
Okay, hold on. Halle Berry's pretty and all. I can't even.
Doesn't make up for that.
No, it doesn't. Halle Berry looks great. That costume, though.
She
is-
just soiled the legacy
Something.
that Michelle Pfeiffer left behind.
True.
I
It's
don't
not
know.
even-
I don't know if I can blame her though.
Oh, I can blame her.
She got a
Blame her all day.
fat. She got a fat paycheck.
I'm
She
sure
didn't
she
write
did
it.
for just a pile of garbage. No. Very
The
funny,
worst.
Bruce. The Clockwork Girl, I'm not very familiar with. It's an animated feature.
I like Clockwork Girl. It's based on a miniseries. It's family friendly. It's heavy on world building, and essentially the animated movie is let's take that miniseries, let's use that style, those tones.
What's it about?
It's a Clockwork Girl, and
Okay.
and it's
She's like a robot girl or an android, just
yeah.
built with clockwork stuff,
yeah,
or more of a
it's-
steampunk.
It's
kind.
very steampunky,
Okay.
kind of screw on head kind of look
Oh.
to it, and it's
Nice. No.
it's great. It's great. But yeah, it's a lot of those kind of coming of age ideals.
Okay.
So
So it's good
dealing
for
with-
teens. A lot of teens probably get into it.
I,
Teens, 20s.
honestly, I would say even go younger than that. It
Preteen.
really no.
Okay.
I'm talking anyone can
Really?
watch this. It's
Interesting.
family friendly and fun.
I'll have to introduce my
But it's-
kids. My kids I usually try to use as a good beacon because I have many of them.
Yeah.
And
you can gauge the ages.
No, and they are a good way to gauge because they're each so different from each other. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're all very similar,
in certain ways,
but their
different in other
personalities are
ways.
yeah, exactly. So it's fun to watch movies like that because one will be like,
Yeah.
oh, I hated it. One's like, oh, this is great. Two are dying on the
I'm
floor.
sure at
you
least
know?
one of them will be like, that was for babies, and one of them will be like,
Right.
that was heavy.
Yeah, and then some of the
seriously.
adults will be like, oh, that was great.
Exactly. Yeah.
And usually it's a cartoon. That's my fault.
Yeah,
Congo,
it's cool.
no, Constantine. I'm sorry.
Constantine.
With Keanu.
Keanu. Oh,
Whoa. Whoa, demons. I'm going to shoot you in the face. Actually, that was pretty good. And also Gavin Rossdale from the band Bush
Yep.
played a demon in it.
Yep, he did.
The former Mrs. Gwen Stefani.
A lot
Mr.
of
Gwen
fans
Stefani.
kind of backlashed against it because it's
They did.
It's
Yeah.
it's drastically different.
It
Yeah.
is.
Well,
It could have been more.
Yeah, it could have been
Constantine's
more.
British and blonde
Right.
and a chain smoker.
Now,
Everything
He
Keanu,
smokes.
He
everything
did
Keanu
smoke.
was
Smokes
not.
in that movie.
No, he did smoke in that one.
movie made me start smoking again.
right. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
smoking in every scene.
Yeah.
That,
And every
that
single
last
scene,
shot
yeah,
of
it
that
was-
cigarette falling,
Yep.
man, that sold a lot
However,
of packs.
I mean, I do like Keanu and the role.
Yep,
Would have
me
been better if he was blonde and British guy. That
I
little
mean-
snarky,
The TV
doesn't
series
want to
picked
be
it up
there.
where-
He's trying to
where
kill
that fell
himself.
short.
that it did.
The short-lived TV series.
Yeah,
Well, Matt
unfortunately,
Ryan,
which was really
right?
good.
Matt Ryan.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think that's his
And
name. But
that's-
they
and
used him
that's
for the
too-
animated,
They did use him for
which
the
is
animated,
great
and
that
they
he
brought
still
him
gets to.
into-
Yeah, because he does the
CW.
character very well. I think they did that too early. You know what I mean? Like when they were doing properties of comic book stuff to do, I think they just went too quick with that one. Like if they would have waited because it came out in 2005, so if they would have done it in 2015,
Yeah, but look at Hellboy. Came out before it.
right?
Same tone.
Which is good,
And it
right?
was successful.
But it could have been more like the books, which
That
were
it
these
could've.
weird adventures and stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Looking for artifacts. It was just Indiana Jones with demons and monsters, which
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Which would have been nice to
I
set
just
up a
think,
franchise.
right? I just think if they would have waited a little bit longer, they really could have done something with Constantine, movie-wise. I mean,
and
it
it's
wasn't
certainly
as,
not a bad film.
No,
It's
no,
not.
it's
It
not
has
a
a
bad
lot of
film.
redeeming qualities.
Uh,
I think it lacks in that people see it as Constantine and
Yeah.
want it to be the book, and it's not.
The next one is from 2011. I watched it a few times. Cowboys and Aliens. I like Cowboys and Aliens.
Fun.
It's a fun
It
ride.
was a fun movie.
Fun ride.
Harrison Ford wagging his finger at people, angry as a cowboy.
Daniel Craig, John
and,
Favreau.
and
real fun.
Daniel Craig just pretty much just straight up punches people in the face. Doesn't say a whole lot for like the first quarter of the
No,
movie.
he doesn't.
Well, that's what Daniel Craig does best.
Right, and Jon Favreau does a good job with movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did great with Iron Man.
I was gonna say we
He's
can't
great
deny
as
him
Happy Hogan.
any of that.
Right, he was unfortunately on Friends. I'm willing to overlook it.
Zathura.
Zathura, yeah.
Which is like the spin-off of Jumanji.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that was brilliant. No, he does very good work, and of course, The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I'm
which is
very
coming.
excited for that.
There's a lot of characters coming up about that. We'll tie that into the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
The Crow had a lot of movies.
The Crow had
The
a
Crow
couple
had
too many.
The Crow had
James
a great movie,
O'Barr.
an okay movie, and then some other
Right.
stuff.
The graphic was great.
Yep.
Back
James
in the
O'Barr does
day,
fantastic
the
with
first
it.
movie that came out was great. Back in the day, I mean that
Still holds
spawned.
up. I still enjoy
Yeah.
it.
That
the
spawned.
miniatures are fantastic.
It
in
spawned.
Score,
It spawned the Hot Topic stores.
soundtrack.
I don't know if you guys know this. Fun facts. The original Crow movie spawned Hot Topic stores. I said it. I'm going on record. You can fight me on it
I
if you
take
want
you.
to.
You are making a stance.
I'm
Great
taking a
soundtrack.
stance.
Yep. Rollins Band,
One of the best
Nine Inch Nails,
soundtracks.
Thrill Kill
It
Count.
had everything that I listened to at
My
that
favorite
time.
Cure song. I'm gonna
Cure,
say
yeah.
my favorite.
I
Cure
was
song.
big into grunge and the gothic techno-industrial scene back in the 90s, and when that came out, the movie,
It's a
the
must.
book, I mean, the whole trifecta of the music, that everything that goes with it, it is great. And it still inspires people to dress in black.
Oh yeah, it is so important to that
And
culture.
unfortunately, it cost us an actor.
It did.
Sadly, it did. Yeah.
Pretty much in the same vein, it cost us his father, Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee. So that's pretty devastating. And then, unfortunately, it wound up giving us Wicked Prayer, which had Edward Furlong pretending to be some Indian something.
It's very.
It's sad. It's very sad.
It's sad.
And not in the way that it like touches your emotions.
No,
sad.
it's a
just you're
disappointing
watching this
ride.
and
It's
you're
the way
just
that it
like
punches you in the gut. Sad.
you're like, okay,
Now,
you know,
see, the
I want to
Crow-
give the director a hug
The
and
Crow,
then just put
the
him
Crow
down
is
for
one
a
of those
while.
where there's a descending level. The
Yes.
first movie is fantastic. Second
City
one,
of
City of
Angels
Angels,
is good.
I
It was
still
pretty good.
enjoy.
Yeah.
There's
That
still
was pretty good.
visually, it's got
Third
very
one,
beaten us down, and it just keeps.
And then
getting
it
worse
just
and
Wicked Prayer. Yep. I'm gonna talk about it. 2003.
We're doing it. We're talking it.
Daredevil.
Ah, Daredevil.
worse. The director's cut is much better than the theatrical.
John Favreau.
I'll give it that. The director's cut's
you're
better.
right.
The live theater presentation was just out of this world.
The PBS version.
The
So
PBS
good.
version.
I mean,
Made for TV movie.
when it gets to the point that the director's cut's rated R,
Yeah. He
on
did
a
show up.
PG film.
Daredevil did show
It's
up in
very
Incredible Hulk with Thor and the TV series.
Oh yeah.
The made-for-TV
Trial of the Incredible Hulk,
Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
which is Stan Lee's first cameo.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that is a true fact.
It's a
So
true
if you get a
fact.
chance, you can find that on the internet. But the Incredible Hulk TV series was great. Lou Ferrigno, unfortunately, has just recently
just
been hospitalized.
hospitalized.
Which,
That's sad.
we do wish him a speedy recovery.
Botched flu shot.
Really?
I've met him before, and he was awesome.
I've
I
heard-
helped him
I've heard
set up
that
a
so many
table.
times.
He's
I've heard
just
that.
great. Deadpool.
That's-
Oh wait, hold on. This is gonna take me a minute to talk about Deadpool.
You gotta get in it.
Daredevil first
Oh,
was
right.
one of the reasons why I wasn't big on Affleck picking up the mantle of Batman.
The botched Daredevil.
And,
The
and
botched
he took
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
And it's not that
because
it
he
was
didn't think he
horribly
ever
botched.
played
There was
Batman.
elements of it, but
I love the costume.
done much better now by Charlie Cox and Netflix. Whatever they
absolutely.
did, and just
Absolutely.
the darkness and the content and just the way it ties in is just it's magnificent. And I
Yeah.
pray just if they want to envelop him into the movie universe, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Make it a buddy movie with him and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And I think one of the bigger sins of Daredevil, and it's going to be later on the list, is that it gave us Elektra.
Did give us a lecture.
It
It's
did-
not far down
and
this
that's
list.
too bad.
Okay, where was I? Deadpool.
That's how you adapt a movie.
I'm prepped. I have Sister Margaret's School for Wayward Girls. I'm a supporter. It was a bar in Deadpool. If you haven't seen it, I will give away spoilers all goddamn day. This is one of my favorite movies, hands down, superhero based, ever. It's magical. The comic is just, it's silly, it's weird. He introduces characters that are just
Off the wall.
like the Walrus Man that he dug out like of a vault somewhere in the Marvel universe. And just in the comics, it's dynamite. He talks to himself. He's got the little thought bubbles he argues with and weapons out of nowhere. He's indestructible, and he's just such a wise ass. And it's Ryan Reynolds knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah.
It was what he's been leading up to his entire career.
Since
Yeah.
birth. Yeah, the Canadians have been prepping him to be this Canadian superhero, which is just
We dropped
he's
the ball
doing
on
Canadian
Shatner.
commercials.
Canadian
so
commercials, which was great. Actually, for American
Wonder-
whiskey.
For American
Right.
whiskey, now owned by Canadians.
Vodka or gin. American gin.
Is
That's
it
what
gin?
was. Yeah, it's gin. Aviator, Aviator or Aviation. I can't remember.
Honestly, I was paying
I'm
more
willing to
attention
try
to
it just
Ryan
because
Reynolds
I
in
love
the
Ryan
commercial
Reynolds,
than
yeah.
anything.
I'm down with that. I'm not even ashamed to say that. Love my wife. leave her in a heartbeat.
That man
Deadpool
has an
2.
ass.
Deadpool 2 was amazing. I mean, it had a lot of everything. It was very touching in parts and very endearing, and it gave us, other characters and just Josh Brolin
I didn't
doing
like
his
it.
double
I
duties.
didn't like it as much as 1.
Neither did
Really?
I, but I still really enjoyed it, and
A
especially
lot more
Josh Brolin.
fun to it. Josh Brolin,
Phenomenal.
man, and for
Talk
his
Talk
age,
about a 2 home runs in 1 year.
in 1 year.
Oh.
I'm in his lifetime. Come on, Goonies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ever seen Old Boy?
I don't think he's ever made a.
Old Boy was
biggest
great.
step.
Scarlet Witch is
At
in
least
that
not
with
that
him.
I've seen.
It's
okay.
based on a Japanese film. Japanese? Chinese? I get those confused. My wife's gonna be mad if she sees this. I'm not doing it because it's funny this time. I actually don't remember what it's from. Anyways, Old Boy. This guy's like kidnapped. He's locked in a trunk and he's kept in this room for like 20, 10, 15, something, however many amount of years. Then he gets free. He has a hammer and he just goes and solves justice. So they remade that with Josh Brolin and Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch is in it too, and she doesn't wear much. It's a good movie. Diary of a Teenage Girl. I'm unfamiliar with. 2015.
I like
not a
Diary
teenage
of a
girl.
Teenage Girl.
Okay.
Get out of here. Diary of a Teenage Girl is. And you picked the worst one to make that joke. It's a really heavy book.
Ah, damn it.
She loses her virginity to her mom's boyfriend at the time, and she's 12.
I just opened up a bag.
Yeah,
of
you
words.
did.
I even hate asking.
The
this.
internet's not happy.
It is not the feel-good comic book.
It is
Okay.
not feel good comic book of the year.
Okay.
But it's written as a diary with drawings in it, and that makes up the comic format. So it's like she's writing.
So it's
how
a pretty
she's
tough
processing.
tale.
It is tough.
A lot of emotions.
It's very
That's
cathartic.
not for me. Okay.
But it is very emotional,
Nope.
and
Nope.
and it's written as if a kid is writing a comic book throughout
It's already
her
making me
teenage
sad.
years.
It's already making me sad.
It's a sad one.
Doctor Strange 2016, phenomenal movie.
Oh, love that movie.
It encapsulated a lot of the Steranko art from back in the day, the 70s. Ditko, I'm sorry. Steranko was
was
the
Nick
other
Fury.
one. Yeah, Nick Fury, which pops up on our list too.
That he does.
A lot of people had no idea.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
that
important.
one floats under
It's
the
important
radar.
to the history.
It
It was a
is.
TV movie, and I said we were going to
was.
talk about those, but
But there's some
There's a
exceptions.
few. Well,
this is my exception because I do
Doctor
like it.
Strange had a TV movie
Doctor
as well in the
Strange
70s.
did.
Yeah.
Yep, in the 70s.
They tried
and,
to capitalize
it's
on
like,
that Spider-Man Incredible Hulk.
It's
And
Twins,
Spider-Man had
all
a
hell.
70s. Spider-Man had a Japanese one in the 70s. Spider-Man popped up on the Electric Company
Yeah,
in the
Spider-
80s and
Spider-Man
stuff like
had
that.
the TV series
Had
on
his TV
ABC
series.
CBS.
Absolutely. I mean,
Cartoon.
he's run the gamut
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, Elektra.
Electra.
It spawned because of Daredevil, and people thought we needed to see Jennifer Garner's big ears on TV or something, and we did not.
I'm gonna say my biggest problem with that movie. What a waste of awesome characters.
Yeah.
Through
Yeah.
and through, every
And-
character.
but again-
is great.
But again,
Ink.
yeah. But again, Netflix really did it justice and fixed
Oh,
that
yeah.
problem. They made Electra great in that one.
Absolutely.
I mean, it got a little deep with the love
Absolutely.
story and such, and this and that.
But it worked really well. As did Typhoid Mary,
I'm
I would
watching
say.
that.
Sorry, confusing. You're like merging faces. That threw me off. But yeah, again, Netflix helped and Typhoid Mary they brought into Iron Fist. I
Fist,
haven't got through
All I
that
gotta
yet.
say, it's done really.
I'm
it's
almost done
handled
with
well.
Luke Cage. I just wrapped up Daredevil. Jessica Jones has been done. I gotta finish the Iron Fist. I might go back and do Defenders again before they get rid of it. So it's gonna take me a while. Ethel and Ernest. I don't know that one. It's an animated
familiar
film.
with that one.
2016. All right. Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four is a can of worms.
Yeah, it is.
They've rebooted it recently, and it had nothing to do with the original Fantastic Four. I'm not any kind of a racist. I'm going on camera at this right now, but
Oh, boy.
why did Johnny Storm have to be a black guy? I'm just asking.
Why
it has
not?
nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the comic books. It's just these two twins. It's just conflicting. I want my comic book movies to really. I mean, they don't have to be based solely. I mean, they can tweak a little bit. You know what I mean? But you're tweaking ethnicities and
I
just
feel like in that
and
instance,
genders and stuff of things that you grew up
how
with,
did-
and those stories
How
were
did you
told.
feel about Doctor Strange?
What do you mean?
Baron
Oh.
Mordo is a white man,
Baron
and
Mordo,
the ancient
yeah.
one is
and
an
it was,
Asian man.
and it was different. And the ancient one, yeah, no, and
And-
that was different to me, and that
And
does
in those
kind of bother me.
instances,
It was a
they're
good
great
movie,
actors.
but these weren't even good movies.
No, but Michael B. Jordan's fantastic.
Michael B.
And
Jordan
Josh
is-
Trank
no,
has-
he
and
was
Josh
great as
Trank has worked
Killmonger.
with him before.
He's great in that movie Creed. I'm not saying anything about that.
I can't blame Josh Trank for picking him.
Here's my
Is what
point.
I'm saying.
Fan Four Stick, that's
Fan
what I call it.
Four-Stick,
Fan
yep.
Four Stick
Yeah.
is a really good movie. It is not a really good Fantastic Four.
No.
No, if
It on its own, it would be a fantastically cool movie.
Yeah.
They
If
butchered
different powers
Doctor
don't call
Doom. He was like some hacker or something.
Yeah.
And
And
don't call it Fantastic Four. Don't give them the same powers, but it's a good movie.
No.
I feel a lot of the conflict in that movie comes from.
We're shutting this all down right now.
Oh no!
Well, we could talk about Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Oh, no, I'm getting to that in a second. Silver Surfer wasn't too bad. It kind of tried to stick to some more of the source material. They butchered Galactus. Didn't even show it. There was like a hint of
He's
he
a
had
cloud.
the pointing
He's a cloud
he's
with
a cloud.
ears.
with weird tentacles, and it was more like Cthulhu coming to life. And I don't know why that happened.
Well, Cthulhu and made of space.
And even the one that they did of Fantastic Four, it wasn't. It was okay and it explained things. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't have taken it from like the 1950s standpoint. Why didn't they do like a weird sci-fi of like the first family? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like kind of like a throwback,
like a kind of
to the
homage
50s,
to that.
60s sci-fi.
Like
Yeah, like an homage, because that's what it was back then. I mean, that was what was popular and what was big. You know, sci-fi was huge, and the Star
Sci-fi's
Trek
on the way
and
out, and
Exactly.
superheroes are on the way in. Put them together, make it work.
Yep, Journey to the Center of the Earth. You got guys like the Mole Man, you know, and stuff like. I mean, there's characters that kind of they take from things like that.
Those stories transcended. You know, they use that as source material. Fantastic Four does it. She-Hulk comes into the Fantastic Four. Then She-Hulk does it 20 years later.
And out of all the Fantastic Four movies, the only one to really stick to the source material where it looked like they were just dragging pages
is Roger Corman's
is Roger Corman's
Four.
1994 unreleased Fantastic Four film, which has obviously now been able to find. It's on YouTube. It's on the
life
internet.
on the internet is amazing.
If you get a chance,
Its life as a bootleg and conventions for
if
years.
it's that holy grail that's out there, and
that it is.
They spent a lot of money on it. A lot of money.
Not enough, but they
but they put in a lot of work, and nobody knew.
No,
they just pulled the rug out. It's like, nah.
To the point that they had sent T-shirts to theater staff and had posters up in dozens of theaters.
And then to find out later it was just to
retain the rights,
the rights and licensing,
which they did successfully until currently the debacles that have happened recently.
52.4.
And I had questioned this before. We talk about Casper coming back from children's books, and that's one of the more earlier adaptations on our list.
For sure.
And I questioned the fact of Faust, Love of the Damned. It is taken from the comic book adaptation. This came out in 2000.
Right.
But the character Faust...
The comic book source material.
The comic book source material. Way beyond that. Obviously, it was a book and from like the 18th century and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they were talking about Faust as this demon. And
we could do dozens of these.
We could do dozens of these. Frankenstein. Yep. The character itself from Hell.
From Hell. Dracula.
Story of Dracula. Yep. That comes in 2001. G-Men from Hell, which is actually kind of entertaining. It's kind of one of those. It seemed like more of a B movie, kind of to me.
Nothing wrong with B movies.
No.
Oh no,
nothing wrong with B movies
because we're gonna do a show about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with B movies, but that's one that just struck me as that. Gargantua, 2006.
Oh.
The Giantess Rises in 2014. It spawned a sequel.
That it did.
It's an interesting one.
Gargantua
it's not horrible.
it has its place. You know,
it does have its place.
It spawns from a comic that's from the 90s. She came out of Femme Force.
Yeah.
So it can't be that great.
Which was what was that company? Who did those ones?
AC, I believe.
Might have been AC. Yeah, we're gonna have to check that.
It's
Was
AC. Yeah, AC Comics. It's
one of those indie companies that came out in the 90s, and there was a lot of them.
They came and they sold and they went.
Right, like some Image. Well, Image was the one that predominantly went to be a little bit more successful.
Image lasts.
They hang for a while. I mean, there's still some kicking around.
Oh,
I think. Well, they're still doing Savage Dragon.
Image, I would say, has a better business model right now than Marvel or DC do.
Right.
They are constantly selling units, and they are keeping to the creators, and it's wonderful.
Good for them, as they should. I know Jim Lee and all those guys went off and they did that.
Jim Lee and Todd
Joe Quesada, which is still
Will Spataccio.
He is one of my favorite artists. He always has been. Anything I can see of Joe Quesada's artwork, I jump on immediately. Ghost Rider gave us a reason to love Nicolas Cage again. Not that we ever didn't.
Never has his overacting been so perfect.
The second one
I liked
was outstanding.
Yeah.
The second one,
a really cool movie.
Start to finish, even the graphics on him, like that.
The
darkness
and tone
the
of
ash that was coming. Yeah.
You can't deny that is a heads and tails better movie.
Idris Elba, who
Idris
played
Elba's
Heimdall,
great in it.
and he was great in it as this weird priest, this drunken priest or whatever.
Yeah.
And much better than the first one. I mean, the first one was good, seeing Nick Cage go crazy,
go nuts,
his face melt off.
his
Yeah.
screaming
Oh
face
my
and
God.
his CG abs. It was amazing.
He's just so weird.
But
No,
unfortunately,
he's in good shape. Nicolas Cage has always been in decent shape.
You can't tell me those aren't CG abs
Nope.
in that movie.
I think that's him. He's always been in decent shape. Nick Cage
Is there
used
any
to
way
work
we can
out.
pull up an image? Because I'm ready for this.
Can we Snopes this information? Ghost World, 2001.
Ghost World
This was a good one.
fantastic.
It was an indie comic.
Yep. And again, a darker, heavier material and very
Yeah.
autobiographical.
Very much
there's
so.
a lot of comics that came out of the 90s produced movies that were based in the real world
And,
heavy.
Ghost World starred. She's been in a few other things. I don't know. It wasn't not Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson.
Johansson was in that one. That's what I was thinking of.
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
Yep.
And
And I don't remember the lead character's name.
yeah, I can't either.
I don't
No.
remember her the actress's
But
name.
she was fantastic.
she was
Yep,
fantastic.
she was.
So
That
yeah,
whole
Ghost
movie
World
was
was a good one. Green Lantern came out in 2011. We're just gonna pretend like it didn't. I think Ryan Reynolds in the latest Deadpool erased that from our history.
Yep.
So thanks to him for that.
I don't know, he kind of opened that wound again for me.
and then he quickly closed it by wounding Green Lantern. Guardians of the Galaxy, both are dynamite.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm truly hoping the third one continues that trend
Yeah.
because
And-
it is just outstanding. The dynamic between the team, they all do well together. I don't know if Batista's coming back.
He's very angry right now.
He's very angry. I have-
The internet claims that Nick Cage's abs are real.
Because
Telling you.
everything on the internet.
In
I'm
that,
telling you.
In that mirror
internet
scene,
doesn't lie to
man.
you.
He talks about the excruciating work he went through.
Yeah.
How he starved himself for 2 days.
He's in
before
good
he
shape.
did that scene.
I'm
They
telling
wanted
you
him.
that,
Tim Burton wanted him to be Superman at
that
one
mirror
point in
scene-
time.
Well, he was Superman.
No,
at
he
one
put
point in
on
time.
a costume at one time. That does not make you
He
Superman.
was signed.
I've worn
He grew
Superman
a mullet.
pajamas that had a cape. That doesn't make me Superman. That's just not how it works.
You didn't
Anyway,
get paid for it.
the hell I didn't.
Still with Guardians, though?
Yeah.
Kudos to Marvel for going a little deeper in their roster.
Yeah.
A
with
little?
Yeah.
much deeper
Yeah.
with what the populace would be aware of.
Yeah.
Right.
And pull something out of it.
Yeah,
and make
because
it
as far
great.
as I know, Groot was part of that team. No, Groot showed up in like Tales of Suspense
Yep.
And
from some other planet, and he
Yeah.
was like a king and he
Yeah.
could speak.
Yeah, his first appearances
In the
Hulk.
comics, Guardians,
Or
when he
not
first
Groot, but
started,
Rocket, his first appearances
He's in the Hulk.
in
Yep.
the Hulk, yep, and he was all scraggly
Actually,
and weird.
I don't.
Howard the Duck, he comes
None
in
of-
a lot, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they
None
really
of
dug
the
him
current
out.
Guardians originated from Guardians of the Galaxy. They all came into the team in 2012.
Yeah, and that was when
All of them.
Yeah, and they just who was it? Vulcan, one of the Inhumans, was talking to Groot. They're like, "You can understand him." He's like, "Yeah." He says he's a prince, or he's a prince from this
Yeah,
planet,
he's,
and
he's
blah
the
blah. He's
ruler
like,
of that world.
what? It's like
The Beast from Planet X.
Beast from Planet
Beast from
X.
Planet
Yep,
X.
that's exactly that was
That's-
his name. He is Groot.
It's
Fun
awesome.
fact for
It's
everyone.
awesome, and he's just a log.
Yeah, he is just
he's
a log.
with
A
legs.
log with like a little stick in the arms. The Gwai, 2009. I'm familiar.
I'm completely unfamiliar.
I'm familiar with that
Okay,
one too.
I'll say Gawai. It looks like it's spelled Hawaii with a gwa in front of it. Hardware.
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 Unauthorized by the creators. It came out in 1990
Hardware is a direct adaptation, completely illegal.
from Impact Comics.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
That it is.
Which also gave us Prime. There was Hardware, Prime. I think there was a Prototype, something called Prototype. That's what I thought Femforce came from, but it wasn't.
No.
What was Dinosaurs for Hire? Remember that one?
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
I think wasn't that part of Impact? That might have been one of their better
it might
ones.
have been.
Could have been.
Anyways, Impact was indie. It came out a while ago just to throw their hat in.
Yeah.
They didn't last long. I
And
think they
their-
wound up
and their
getting
whole
merged.
thing was, let's grab an idea from someone famous
Yes.
and throw it at a book.
Yeah,
If-
they had characters that were like the Punisher. They had some that were like Superman. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no
Yeah, they were
character
all
that you wouldn't be like, oh,
rip-off
Let's just-
wait a minute, this is so and so. That's so and so.
We're taking everything we like and
Yeah.
we're just going to put it all here
Yep.
and we're
Except
going to
for
sell it.
Hardware, which is a really good film.
If you get a chance to find
a
it,
good
It's
film.
fun, yeah.
Try to
I
find
like
it.
Great adaptation.
It's
Too
not bad.
It's not official.
Yep, it's
Yeah,
not bad.
That's what I feel bad about.
You think
It's
they'd
really-
turn around, they'd watch that, and be like, oh, you know what, good
Yeah,
job.
we're gonna say, okay.
You know what, hey,
Yeah.
we give our approval on this anyways. The next one, 2009, Rob Zombie.
Yep.
His
World
first
of El
movie
Super
was not Halloween for a lot of people who don't know. The Haunted World of El Super Beasto.
Wasn't that
Animated.
either, though.
What's that?
Wasn't that either, though.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
Oh,
for
thank
the
God.
sake
House of a Thousand Corpses.
for the sake of
But-
this,
Right.
comic book adaptations.
You're right.
Yeah, the Haunted World of El Super Beasto animated,
Yep.
Yeah.
way fun,
Fun.
good soundtrack.
Very different than the
Great
tone of the
soundtrack.
comic, which
Yes.
was Rob Zombie Spook Show International.
Yep.
Which,
And,
Super Beasto was.
A love letter to anthologies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it totally
Okay.
was. But El Super Beasto was like pretty badass and kicked some ass and
He was hardcore. He was busting
very
heads.
cool ass villains. and then they just fluffed them up and
It's
Made it
fun.
marketable.
joke, but
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
You got to make things marketable. We talked about this Heavy Metal, 1981,
Heavy Metal, yeah, we
animated. I don't think I was supposed to watch it, and then I was at a friend's house, and then he had it, and so we watched it,
I
or
know
it was
that
on.
I shouldn't have watched
It
it.
was like on MTV, like late one night or something like that, or
it was not released on video for years until the
Right.
90s. Luckily, it was on like HBO, and I had a VHS copy of it that I
Ooh.
recorded.
Oh,
Nice.
wow,
I
you had
was,
a hot
I was,
commodity.
Yeah.
I was in commodity
Yeah.
for a long time with that.
black market stuff on that.
Oh,
yeah.
Again, another phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah,
Yep.
that movie
Yep.
That
introduced
was
me to
the time.
Cheap Trick. That
And
movie
Van
introduced
Halen.
me to Devo.
Yep.
Like
To Ronnie James Dio's
Ronnie James
Black
Dio.
Ryan
Sabbath.
James Dio. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there were so many good things, and they did it again in 2000.
In case
Not
you
as
could,
well.
in case you
Not as
couldn't
well.
tell, those all were
No.
pretty impactful.
And also,
Yeah.
it spawned off. We had that movie. Was it The Wizards? You remember that little
Wizards
animated?
was Ralph Blansky, which is
Right.
similar in tone, but
Similar in
Yeah.
tone, but I mean, it was around that time
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
A
all
lot of
these things
creative-
kind
a
of
lot
they
of
tried to
similar
spawn each other off.
themes
Yep.
and creative.
2000.
with just wanted to put this out there right now. Heavy Metal 2000. Julie Strain, who is the
Yeah.
model, is in some pretty serious health issues right now. So
Oh, no.
we want to wish her some
Oh
Yep,
yeah, I hope
exactly.
she feels
Definitely
better. Yeah, you
do.
do a lot of the horror cons and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do some horror talk too, because you guys are you were definitely well versed in that. I have a little
say.
bit from my youth, and I keep a little bit back here.
Yeah,
There's
we'll
some in
work
here.
on
Hellboy from 2004,
Hell,
2008 gave us Hellboy 2. Both are good movies.
I love them.
I like
Seth
Golden Army
MacFarlane
more.
did a nice
I
guest.
like the second.
I like
one.
Golden Army more, but I think this latest, the 2019, that's coming.
Gonna blow us away.
And
Yeah,
don't
with
know
David
if-
Harbour.
I don't know if either of you have heard
Stranger
this.
Things.
Patton Oswalt is really good friends with both Hellboys, so he arranged them to
Oh,
have
with Ron
dinner
Perlman and-
together,
Nice.
and they just to talk it out and go, hey, no
Yeah.
hard feelings.
Yeah.
We're both doing this.
David
Let's
Harbour
just
doesn't
be
have hard
friends.
feelings. David Harbour is coming into his own now, thanks to
Yeah.
the Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things.
And man, did he really buff up for Hellboy?
Yeah.
That
All
he
right,
did.
let's.
Well,
We're,
he didn't so much buff up for Hellboy. Is
He
that
slimmed down.
Slimmed down.
He
Yeah.
buffed down.
Yeah, that's true. He's a big boy.
He
Yeah, he is.
purposely ate bad food to
To
fatten
gain
up.
weight.
It happens to the best of us. Hercules, the 2014. That was the one that came out with The Rock,
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it is.
based on the comic book
Loosely.
of Hercules.
Yeah.
Right. Which I mean, they've done some Mystery Science Theater. I don't know how many of those Hercules movies they've riffed on.
Oh.
Oh,
Which just kill me, and I own a few of them. And I mean, there's Hercules throughout the ages. It's a tale, one of those tall tales that I've told about
Oh,
a
yeah,
man.
maybe one of our
incredible
oldest
strength
characters on
and-
the list.
Yes,
Yeah, I
I would
guess
say
that would
our
probably
oldest character
predate
on the
Faust.
list. Oh yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're
Could be.
close second. History of Violence 2005.
that we do.
As I confirmed with one of the many useless pieces of knowledge I have,
You
was one of
nailed
the last VHS tapes to come out. That was the final nail in the
Major
VHS
release
coffin.
VHS,
Yep,
yeah.
major release VHS was a History of Violence.
History of Violence is just
It's dark.
It's dark.
It
It's
is dark.
visceral, and a
It is
lot of people
visceral.
don't realize that it was an imprint of DC,
And based in Michigan.
based in Michigan.
Yep.
Exactly. You know,
Yep.
a gang man from I want to say Chicago moves to Michigan to change his life
Yep.
around.
Viggo Mortensen.
Yep.
Yep, Viggo Mortensen.
And it's a
And they
great
come to his
film.
house, and yeah, no, it's got a lot of action, it's got a lot of drama and intrigue, and
And-
a lot of darkness, and it's a lot of everything. Yeah. Hop Harrington. Oh, Hop Harrigan. I'm sorry, that was a serial from 1946. The kids aren't gonna know that one.
No.
I've watched a few of them. They're just these
But
weird
hopefully kids know
adventures.
this.
It's
Of
Next
important,
one.
but
Howard the Duck, 1986.
let's hope they don't.
It's still one of my favorites,
No.
dude.
I
I
love,
love
you know,
Howard.
you
George
know that I
Lucas.
love that movie.
I know.
He gave us Star Wars, and for some reason he gave us Howard the Duck. I don't know why.
I love Howard the Duck. I really do. We don't need duck boobs in the world.
No, I mean,
We don't
that's
need duck
true.
boobs.
It
We don't
did.
need that
No.
tongue scene.
it did get a little off kilter
There-
with it,
there are
but it
some-
was an alternative weird story that they told. I mean,
It-
Howard the
it
Duck was a
definitely
character
was.
that they gave us. It was fun. It was silly.
Mm-hmm.
Comes to
Well,
Earth.
you
He
gotta
just
remember
wants
this.
to go
This
home.
was in the era of Buckaroo Banzai.
Right.
Yeah, there
Right.
was things were a little.
If
But
you-
they are giving talks that they're going to do Howard the Duck again. They might bring him
well,
using
no,
Seth
they've been
Green.
back
with
in-
with Guardians because
With
they're
Guardians, yeah.
re-inflaming, and with Seth Green, of course, from Robot Chicken and everything else. A tiny little bugger. He's so successful. I
without a
love him.
paddle.
Incredible Hulk. It started with Hulk in
Ang Lee's Hulk.
2003.
Ang Lee's
Ang
Hulk.
Lee's overly dramatic Hulk.
overly.
And
long
Nick Nolte,
Hulk.
it was
That
really
movie
long.
could have been
It's
taken
poorly
care of in a half
paced,
hour.
yeah.
And the Hulk's all right. Eric Bana did a good job. I'm not discrediting him at all.
It's
but
it's a good first step on those.
There
Hulk
was.
effects,
The
though.
Incredible
Yeah,
Hulk was
Those
great.
Hulk effects. That's
And
that's
Edward Norton did a great job. I like
That he
Edward
did.
Norton.
That he did. And you can really see how Edward Norton's performance influenced the first Avengers movie.
And they had a good Hulk on that. But Mark Ruffalo, I don't know. Now that I see him and he's been doing it,
He's your Bruce Banner.
He's my Bruce
He's-
Banner.
yeah.
He's just
He
so
has-
awkward and
yeah.
he's so you know what I mean? Like rubs his hands. He's still kind of, but he's still kind of, you know, stand up for things, but he's still kind of real sciencey and
He's aggressive, but he keeps his shoulders up.
he's got exactly. He's got a good character on him. I Kill Giants from 2018.
I Kill Giant. I've not seen the adaptation. I Kill Giants is one of my favorite comics.
That is a good comic. Comic I've read, movie I haven't seen. So I'm on the same boat with you.
Same
I
with you.
Frankenstein tale.
I have to admit, I skipped it.
You did.
Yeah,
It's not bad. That was the one with Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
One of our many Punishers. Thomas Jane. He's the Frankenstein monster who'd been still alive all these years, and now he has to fight gargoyles because gargoyles.
You know what? Gargoyle fights are fun.
You know, they're loose talking of a gargoyles movie.
I've
I've heard Kevin
Based on the
Feige wants to make a
based on the
Gargoyles
animated, and
film.
why wouldn't he? It's a property that he
Oh,
can get his
it's
hands on because they're part of that
wonderful.
Disney umbrella now. So that's easy one. So Iron Man, all three of them, I thought they were great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I have no qualms with any of the Marvel movies. You're not going to hear me badmouth too many of them. I will nitpick from time to time. There are things.
We're nerds. We always
The
nitpick.
ones I will throw under the fucking bus every time, pardon my French, is the
I don't think that's French.
Wow.
the X-Men. I am opinionated about the X-Men.
Okay.
Their timelines are all askewed. The characters don't make any goddamn sense.
There should be more effort in those movies. I would
There
say
should be any effort in those movies.
I
They
would say
Schumachered
the-
the shit out of every one of those movies.
the first four of those movies.
How do you
I can
really
pass.
feel?
Oh, dude.
After Iron Man has come out,
My face gets a little
you gotta
red.
slow
I
down.
get a little feisty about this. All right, Jonah Hex came out in 2010. Josh Brolin.
Josh
Brolin
Brolin
again.
does a good job.
Yeah.
He
Again,
did a good job, but
it's
it
not a
just-
great
okay
movie,
but
he's fun
was
in it.
like I said,
like him.
DC was just trying to pump out some stuff to compete and do their thing, and I
they
mean they
chose
wanted to choose an
the
obscure
wrong
character,
things, though.
but they wanted to do like, I mean Jonah Hex isn't really a superhero per se.
No.
I mean it's a
But
mystical
I-
supernatural cowboy
I can see
series.
why they do it on paper because
Right.
we can satisfy the horror crowd and the cowboy crowd
Sure.
and the comic crowd.
Sure.
Oh, that's a nice umbrella.
But
It didn't.
They didn't do it right. They
He
had to
didn't
stick
guide
with more
well.
of like that supernatural, like, you know, fighting ghosts in the 1800s and demons and
Yeah.
monsters and stuff that, you know, most of these people, they never even heard of. Oh, Lordy, there's some demons around here.
Yeah.
Feats don't fail me now.
Lordy.
Yeah, Lordy. Josie and the Pussycats spawned from Archie.
Archie.
Who we've discussed.
Has no movie.
Who's Archie? At this point. I mean,
all the spin-offs of Archie are bigger.
he led the
until
way.
Now.
Yeah.
We got Josie and the Pussycats.
I would still say.
Sabrina
Betty
the
and
Teenage
Veronica.
Witch.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch has been rebooted on Netflix, and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
that's
And that's
popular amongst the
huge.
crowd. And Riverdale.
Yeah. Which
Come on.
Riverdale is when we finally
doesn't-
have Archie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
people
who
are
doesn't love
loving it.
Jughead more than Archie?
But it's
We
that-
all love
it's-
Jughead more than
It's
Archie.
that where he loves hamburgers more than he loves you. So how about
It's
that?
them hamburgers.
Judge Dredd.
Oh.
There's two of them.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
the '95 with Stallone. I am the law. Oh, I can't get my jaw to go that far over. And then the Dredd from 2012 was good.
Oh,
with
I
love
Carl
that.
Urban,
Really
who was also in Doom.
Yeah.
He was also
Which-
in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, he's done some. And Star Trek,
Star
of course, he
Trek.
did Bones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Star Trek. He's a fan.
He's very.
Coming into his own.
He's
He's
in a
doing
lot
well
of.
in
pop,
nerd
yeah, he really
culture.
is, and he's not horrible.
No.
I mean, he was kind of. I was disappointed in him as Scourge, as his character. I was disappointed in his character.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
It's like, yeah, he was kind of badass, but then he's just a big pushover. He's like, "Ooh."
No, Judge
Okay.
Dredd, not a big
Oh,
fan,
no.
but Dredd.
Dredd.
Dredd, he did great in that, and I heard
Yeah.
they were going to talk a sequel about that, and I'd love to see him go back to
I-
Capital City, man.
I
That'd be
don't
great.
think it did well enough to earn a sequel.
I know, and that's
Damn,
a shame
it's so
too.
good.
But even if they did a series on it, that would
know.
be dynamite.
And the slow motion effects in that
Right.
film.
2017's Justice League was something.
What
That
a
was the
day.
thing.
Then there
the
was
screen.
the
didn't-
mustache fiasco.
The mustache.
Oh.
It's
I didn't think
it's
the movie
ever
was
apparent. The movie
bad.
wasn't horrible. I still
just-
watch it, maybe
Yeah.
just because I'm
It was fun.
curious.
I wanted
more
to
than
watch it.
anything.
Glutton for
Damn, we're glutton
But
for
I
punishment.
think it
I like
really could
Cable.
have been better.
I do. I wish you didn't have a mustache, so they didn't have to do the terrible editing on it. I mean, maybe there would have been a few saving graces, and it's a shame that they had to hand it over to Joss Whedon halfway because of all the problems.
Oh,
and
it absolutely tragic.
it had
That's-
some problems.
That's
It had some problems, and hopefully it gets better with age, or they can fix something. Maybe they stick on the DC.
I certainly
you know
have
what I mean?
more
Well,
hope
the-
in DC now than I did when that film came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Kick-Ass 1 and 2.
Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass 1 and 2.
They stay very close to the element.
I love, especially
They do.
Kick-Ass 1.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Because it's
great.
the better book.
It's the better book, yeah.
Let's be
Coming of
honest,
age
they
story.
depreciate
I mean, the
1,
kid,
2, and 3.
the kid doesn't have any powers. He's just regular high school kid, average schmo, likes
Yeah.
comic books, and
we
then
got
he
got
just,
both Quicksilvers in it, which is great.
It's true. Got both Quicksilver, but
true.
this kid, he's just inspired to do something, and he inspires other people to just step up in his community and just protect his home and his life and everything he loves. And I think it's
Yeah.
got a good message to it.
It does, and
And
it
very
has
dark,
And
and
who
it's
doesn't love Hit Girl?
Hit Girl.
Hit Girl's the best.
Nicolas Cage knocking it out,
Floyd
Cage.
Murphy,
knocking it out of the park.
and he was great in that
Yep.
too.
Which
Yep.
is fun. Cage is a huge comic book.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
He is big.
So-
Almost about as big as
I mean,
Sebastian Bach's Skid Row,
That's
surprisingly.
why he's named Nicolas Cage. It's Nick Fury and Luke Cage.
Yeah, I heard that
Because he
too.
wanted to change his name from Coppola
So
to
he
not
didn't-
follow on the family
It's just
footsteps.
he's such a weird guy.
He is very
Kingsman, Secret Service, Golden
Kings-
Circle, and the
Kingsman.
third one
Fun
coming out.
movies.
Those are
Absolutely.
fun movies.
Fun
Samuel
movies.
Jackson as
Fun
a bad
books,
guy
fun
in one.
movies.
Fun books. I haven't gotten to the second one yet. I really got to watch that. But yeah, no, I mean
Great.
a lot of action, a lot of espionage. It's
Yeah.
got that cool James Bond feel, but also like
It's
A little
got
less,
a little kitschiness to it yet too.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
some kitschiness. It's got some decent music going
a
on.
little less
too.
ridiculous than the
Great
comics.
Great,
Some of those
yeah,
scenes.
that's what I'm
soundtrack.
saying. Yeah, if some of those scenes really work it out. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, we spoke about the Nautilus last
Last
on
week
our
with
last
Nautilus,
conversation,
yeah.
or
This,
last
this is
story.
one of those things.
Story time.
Everything about that. There are things I love about that movie. All the elements are fantastic.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
when you
work.
put that soup together,
Yep.
it doesn't taste good.
It doesn't. No,
I don't
get it.
comes across as rough, and they could have done more.
Yeah,
It
and
could have
it's-
been more with it, and even
Or-
if they spawned
or
a
less.
sequel,
I've
yeah, maybe.
If you pull a little out,
Maybe they
might help.
tried too hard with some of the CGI at the time, but that was what movies were doing. That
Yeah,
was the thing,
sure.
and that was your
The
action
Mummy.
films and stuff. Yeah.
see. My issue with that one is that book works really well.
What, the Mummy?
No, League of Extraordinary
Oh,
Gentlemen.
I thought you
The-
said something about a mummy.
Yeah,
Bad,
Go on.
Bad CGI.
bad CGI.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The book works really well, and it's essentially the exact same formula as the film.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they change that made it bad?
Right.
Like they had to have done
And-
something.
And everyone's guilty. Every one of
Everyone
these
is
is
guilty.
guilty. They're trying to transpose it into something that
Yeah.
people are going to relate to,
Yeah,
or just
they'll all
it's
do
going to
something-
capture their interest.
They'll all do something good. They'll all do something bad.
Right.
That one just didn't.
And
And
I
there's-
kind of feel bad. That was Sean Connery's outro. That was
was
his
it.
end.
I know
And
he was
it's
an
like,
asshole.
Yeah, how do you? Well, he's kind of an asshole.
was, but you know.
2010 gave us the movie The Losers, which has Negan in it,
Mm-hmm.
Captain America's in it. Who else? We got a couple other superheroes in there.
Yeah,
Gamora.
it's-
Gamora's
yep,
in it.
It's
Yeah.
riddled in
It is
comic
riddled,
book
and it's
actors.
DC,
yeah.
and it's
it
it's
is.
actually it's fun. It's
Chris
just
Evans
this,
has some really cool scenes in it.
he does, and
Come
he's,
on, that
and he's
that,
and he gets to
finger
be
gun.
funny. Yeah.
Chris Evans has popped up in more superhero comic book adaptation movies.
The Losers, and he was of course Johnny Storm, Human Torch, and
And
Fantastic
Captain
Four.
America. He's
Captain
in,
America.
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott
Scott
Pilgrim.
Pilgrim.
Yep, that's another one.
Which we'll get to that.
That's
Yep.
a whole nother thing. Yeah.
There was a TV movie, which this is very comic book related. It was Man Thing.
Man
that
Thing,
came
yeah.
out. Who is coming back out?
Oddly, it actually did have theatrical releases.
Yep. And it
Not
is
many.
under the Marvel.
Not
It
a
is
whole
under
lot.
the Marvel,
Less
and
than
it
100.
wasn't. It wasn't the best.
No,
it wasn't
and-
the best.
and
What was
in
that?
the- and it-
Lionsgate?
Yep.
Yep. And he was name dropped in the MCU.
Yes, he was. He was
multiple
showed
times.
up.
Maria
He showed
Hill
up on
dropped
Thor
his name.
Ragnarok. You could see his head
Yep.
on the.
Yep.
On
Yeah,
the,
that's on the
And
not the
Champions.
collector. The
in the
champions.
Dark World, we've got the Next Fall Realities. Howard's in the Guardians
Yep.
films. We talk about.
And if they do stuff with
Merlin.
Howard, if they wind up doing something with Howard, I think they're going to try and incorporate Man Thing eventually. And
Oh,
I
they're
would
gonna
love
have
to.
to.
I would
They're gonna
love
have
that.
to.
I would
Also
love
on
to
our
see
list
Stairs
is
of Oblivion movie.
The Mask, which was a nice vehicle for Jim Carrey. It was way off and more family friendly than
Yeah.
the comic book.
The Mask
The
is a hardcore
comic
book.
is violent and it is disturbing
It is.
and it is
Bloody and visceral
it is
and really
bloody,
in your face.
and it is
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the movie's good and,
And
it's
the movie
funny.
went with that Tex Avery or cartoon feel from
Yeah.
the 50s.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Which worked for what it was.
Yeah.
That was all fine, and then they gave us Son of Mask, which somebody thought we wanted to see Jamie Kennedy do anything.
No.
and we didn't.
And I didn't. And I definitely didn't need him in
Yeah.
a sequel to
The only
something
thing-
that I enjoyed.
The only thing
You know
worse
what I mean?
would be if Tom Green was in it too.
Oh my god, dude, that movie is just getting bad. Where are we? Men in Black.
I noticed we skipped one, and I kind of want to go back to it.
Oh,
It's
we
a big
can.
one to me. From Hell.
No, we talked about it. We didn't elaborate on it.
I don't think we talked
I
about
don't think
From
we talked
Hell.
about From Hell.
Please do.
Graphic novel based on the Whitechapel killings, the Jack the Ripper. Fantastic graphic novel and equally fantastic film.
Yeah.
It's a really big one for me.
I have never read the graphic novel. I have seen the film.
It's really good.
And I like the film.
Really good.
And I like that kind of stuff, like the old mysteries from back in the day with your Jack the Rippers and Boston Stranglers and people they couldn't catch for decades and stuff like that. I like that mystery and unsolved mysteries and intrigue. Yeah, the H.H. Holmes, which
the Zodiac.
I'm really surprised.
Really
I know there's some like Saw is kind of loosely based on that, but why haven't they done like an H.H. Holmes movie?
They're working on it.
The property has been bought
Really?
for Devil in the White City.
Okay. Now you have my attention.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. All right, back to our list is Men in Black. And
in
that
Black.
spawned 3 of them.
Yes.
One, Josh Brolin.
Another
Josh
one
Brolin.
Again.
on the way.
And he was impersonating a young Tommy Lee Jones.
Which is
And it was awesome.
Spot on.
3 is my favorite of the.
I
of the
think
batch.
that's one. Actually, I do like the first one because it introduced the Men in
Yeah.
Black in that
Right.
world. But
But-
then the third one,
Third one's my favorite.
holy cow.
That third one's great, but if I have to say anything about the Men in Black movies, it's that Black Suits Comin' is the better song. Come on!
Yeah. And of course, now we're getting an international one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going to team up from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth and Tessa
Tessa Thompson.
Thompson. Thank you. And she's lovely. And they had a great. They were fantastic in Thor Ragnarok. together.
Absolutely, they
great.
were. Absolutely. And departure from the book.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brendan Fraser was popular at one time.
I just watched you have a moment.
He was George. He was
For a hot minute.
George of the Jungle.
Yep.
A movie based on a cartoon. I thought was hilarious. Okay, Brendan Fraser in the Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes back in action movie.
How about the Mummy? What do you think?
And the first Mummy.
What was the one where he was in the bomb shelter?
Yeah.
and then
Blast from the Past.
Yeah.
That's what-
Christopher Walken was his dad.
Fantastic movie, fun.
Those are great. So they're like, you know what? We have this weird indie comic book movie thing. It's called Monkey Bone.
Yeah, that thing.
It's
that
about this guy
no one
who
really
draws,
knows.
and he's going to go into his character's world, and for some reason, Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg's in that movie, and I don't know why.
Oh, it's so bizarre. I
I-
went back and watched it not all that long ago. I was
Really?
like
I
flipping through, and I'm
love
like,
when they're in the cartoon world because it's just so bad.
It's trippy.
Yeah.
It is
Oh, yeah.
trippy.
It's got that-
It's
mhm.
fun. I love that.
yeah. But then the real world
And-
stuff, and then
and-
you add the weird
but Chris
claymation.
Chris Kattan as the gymnast, and his bones are all broken.
Yeah.
Trying to run is
Yeah,
the
and he's
best
got
part
like
of that
bones
movie.
sticking out, and
Yeah.
he's all
Yeah.
floppy. Oh, it's worth seeing again now, especially. But when it came out, I'm like,
Another pretty good soundtrack. There's
Yeah,
some good stuff on
yeah,
that.
that was a good one.
from the time,
Yeah.
El Muerto. I don't know, 2005.
El Muertos.
El Muerto.
So this
El
guy.
Muerto.
He's a young guy. He's a
what I
kid.
say,
Like
like
I want to say he's like late teens, early 20s or something like
Okay.
that. Goes to a Day of the Dead festival.
Okay.
And he's kidnapped.
Oh.
And they like this cult sacrifices him to Aztec gods, and the Aztec god is like, "That's a load of crap. You kidnapped that guy." And so
Wow.
he brings him back as a zombie and tells him, "Go and kill all of those guys."
Okay.
And he
And
does.
that's the
it's-
premise, and that's what
the
happens?
premise.
And that's a
it's-
movie?
It's a movie.
I am
it's
now
a revenge
into this.
story.
I
I want to
am
watch
too.
this movie.
All right. I'm
Aztec
sold.
zombie modern times in California. It's ridiculous.
Kind of
I
like
love it.
Puma Man. You ever seen Puma Man?
No.
It has to do with this guy who's granted these powers through his father. His father was a Puma Man. He pretty much just wears a belt and he
So
flies.
it's Black Panther, but,
But
in
he
Puma.
flies sideways. He's like got his body bent and everything shots like in a 70-degree angle.
Now,
Donald
see,
Pleasance.
Now I'm a huge fan of
Mm-hmm.
El Santo versus the Aztec zombies.
That's one of them. I like that one too.
So I'm
Yep.
good with this.
Oh, yeah.
Samson versus the vampire woman.
Oh, yep.
That's another good one. All right, My Friend Dahmer, which is
Friend
more
Dahmer.
one of the more recent films.
Yep.
I
Very
had no
recent,
idea.
yeah.
I had to go and
Based on
I had
that.
to go and check on the comic, on the graphic of that. And of course about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. And
Being friends with Jeffrey
another,
Dahmer.
another
A
real world
young-
based
Yep.
autobiographical.
Yep. Very dark.
Is it
But
autobiographical?
it's got some dark
It's-
undertones to it, anyways. I mean, knowing
Close.
who the character
Who wrote
is
it?
that
Well,
it's about.
Okay, not autobiographical. But
Just making sure, because I was
But-
gonna
but
say
very-
if there's
but
stuff that I don't
very
know about Jeffrey
biographical.
Dahmer.
biographical.
Right. But the fact of you know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, you know what he's done in his lifetime, you know his crimes
So
and this
seeing
and
it-
that.
Seeing it from a
Seeing it
different
backwards
view.
and go up.
Exactly, and then but it seems like it's got a more darker undertone to it, knowing who this person's becoming or already
knowing the end.
or
makes-
already has been at those
Yeah.
points. I mean, you never know if somebody's telling a tale of somebody else. You don't know
Yeah.
how early he started. You know what I mean? He could have been eating people
very-
when he was 8.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows? People are delicious. Apparently,
I mean, chicken tastes like chicken.
no,
8.
don't. You shouldn't know that. Mystery Men,
Mystery
1999.
came out way ahead of its time.
It did.
Yeah.
It
If
did.
that had come out 10 years later,
Mr.
it
Furious,
would have been great.
Ben Stiller,
It
Janine
didn't-
Garofalo. Everybody was friends back at the
Paul
time.
Rubens.
Paul
Rubens
Rubens
was great in it.
the
It didn't
Queen.
work when it happened, and that's a shame.
The Blue
because
Raja.
Really,
The
I
Blue
throw
Raja.
spoons.
I
You
can
throw
only be
forks.
invisible when no one's looking.
Always looking at me invisible.
That's my
okay.
favorite.
Am I invisible? No, you're not. You're naked. Stop it. So yeah, that one came. That was
That
the
was
bowler.
Too soon.
I still badly wanted a bowling ball with a skull in it after that. I mean, oh man,
it's so cool.
it was cool, and that encapsulated a bunch of that grunge era.
Oh yeah,
90s.
well,
Well, it
the
was
coolest kid in the bowling alley.
it was the
Yeah.
tail end of the grunge era 90s. I mean, going into the 2000s. Okay, another TV movie. I said no TV movies. We talked about 5 of them.
But you can't. You can't.
can't.
Let this
You
one
can't
go.
And this is the comic book Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
David Hasselhoff,
David Hasselhoff.
Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He knocked it out. I don't care what anybody says. He was terrible in Baywatch.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
a great Knight Rider. SpongeBob movie, he was okay in. They built
I never saw it.
they built a rubber replica of David Hasselhoff to float around
That's
because
awesome.
of SpongeBob. Yeah. So fun fact on that. I shouldn't know that.
But you do.
I do. I love Hasselhoff. I love the Hoff.
The Hoffman.
Especially when he's drunk eating cheeseburgers
Oh,
on the
drunken
internet,
cheeseburger
whatever it
Hoff.
is, you know.
You hear about his newest project? He and Al Jorgensen from Ministry just made a song.
Oh.
And
Al Jorgensen
Yeah.
just turned like 65.
he turned 60. He just turned
Either way,
60
he's
last month.
old. Just
Hey.
stop it.
He's
But
great.
will it be big in Germany?
He's so much healthier than he was.
It's going to be the biggest thing in Germany.
I am honestly so proud
but
of
that,
him.
yeah, if you get a chance, you can look it up somewhere and probably download it. Maybe
I mean, you
even
can
YouTube.
find it on
but
VHS at every garage sale
the
you
Nick
go to.
Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is, I liked it personally. I thought it was great, even if it had.
It was at a
who it
time
had.
when
It's ridiculous,
Fox
but
was
it's fun.
really trying to get into it
Because they had a new
the
Mutants,
Mutants,
which was
they had,
Was it?
was it
I thought it was a
Mutant
Gen
X?
X movie.
it
It wasn't New Mutants. It was Gen X.
Generation something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't even
Yeah.
tied to that one. Even still,
Yeah.
they were all
They tried.
discombobulated.
Yeah.
Like I said, when it comes to the X-Men and mutants, they can't
They can't get it.
they
Right.
can't get anything right.
No.
It is painful. Oblivion, 2013.
Oblivion.
I have watched this.
Not actually a comic book movie.
And I have watched this, and
It's-
I didn't find anything that was really comic book related to it.
It's interesting.
Here's
So
the backstory.
the creator on this one
Mm-hmm.
years ago didn't have a publisher, had never made a comic book, and had these oil paintings that he did for this concept. And he pitched out this big concept to the internet. And he was like, making it into a graphic novel. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
And then 10 years later, the movie came out, and that was about it. That was about all there was. You know, nothing came of this comic. Nothing was written. There was no text, and so it's assumed that he put too much effort into it
Okay.
and went, "This is too much
Yeah.
to be a comic. I'm gonna make a movie out of
And
it."
the movie was okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it was one of those sci-fi movies that just
I
kind of
didn't-
come and go. I mean,
I
it's
didn't
nothing
like
that
it
really stuck
more
with
than-
me.
Tom Cruise.
Right.
I didn't like
Right.
it more than
Eh.
oh god, what was that movie Tom Cruise was in like a year before? Maybe a year after it. He dies.
Mission Impossible.
And then every day he wakes up
Oh, he has to like do the same
and he
thing
has to
over
do the
again.
same.
Oh,
and
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
movie a lot, and God, it had like 3 titles.
yeah, I can't think of what that one was. Next on our list, 2016, Officer Down,
Officer.
which is I believe Sean Clown Crayon from Slipknot did this
Really?
one.
Thanks.
If my memory serves me. We'll talk about Omphalos from 2014 comes up on our
I'm not
list.
familiar with
That one I'm not really down with either. Painkiller Jane, I do know.
Yeah.
Going back to Joe Quesada, was one of my favorite artists that came
Yeah.
out when they was that Event Comics at the time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That,
Because I
'cause that
remember
was
you had
so-
Ash, and there was Painkiller Jane,
Yeah,
and
Joe
that was
Quesada owned
that came out as a
Event
TV
Comics.
movie, and I think that was just on the Sci-Fi Channel for a little while.
Right.
But
It's a
it
good
was
football.
different, but the
Yeah.
comic book was actually really good. I like the
Oh.
comic book.
It took too long though.
It did take too long. And
The book
honestly,
took like 20 years to come out.
and it took forever once you were reading it too. Paradox, I'm not familiar with that one. Pixies, don't know it. Power Pack, they tried a TV pilot in 1991
That they
for the
did.
adorable little Power Pack, which is a Marvel
I
property.
I loved the Power Pack.
Me too.
Comic.
And
One's a rainbow, one turns into like gas, one's strong.
Their powers are it's
the
energy.
elements.
It's energy,
Right.
acceleration,
Okay.
velocity,
Science.
and yeah, they're all physical sciences.
Physical sciences.
Which is
okay.
why they
Right, and why it
Gravity
probably didn't
thinking.
work out in 1991 as a TV
Exactly.
pilot.
I
That-
was surprised
Mm-hmm.
that Disney didn't go with Power Pack to be their first family friendly as opposed to Big
over
Hero
Big
6.
Hero 6.
Sure.
Yeah, that would have worked
And you know,
really well.
and they can still
They
do
can still
that.
do it, yeah.
Maybe
Still
like
can, but
series-wise, even
it surprised
on the
me.
streaming
I would
network.
love it. You know, Big Hero 6 hasn't had a series for a while. I don't know if it still does.
I think they have an animated one that's
Yeah, that's
out,
what I'm saying. Like,
Disney related.
It's a series
Yeah.
Yep.
spin-off
Well,
from the movie. I would love to see that
if they
crossover.
follow in the vein of what they did with the Runaways, Power Pack would be very good.
It could work really well. Power Pack actually featured in the Runaways heavily in the second volume.
Oh, well
Yep.
then, yeah,
As-
maybe they
as
will
a-
make a
as a
turn
more
after that, because that's
adult-
getting pretty popular on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
there. That is really good.
I would
Cloak
love to
and
see
Dagger
them come
coming
in
out.
as an adult
That
thing.
looks actually really good, and I've heard rave.
It's already out.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard rave reviews about that one.
Yeah.
Punisher. A lot of people only know that the Thomas Jane
Yeah.
or
Well,
even the more recent Punisher that we have on Netflix.
yeah.
Dolph Lundgren
Dolph
was
is
our
Lundgren.
first Punisher, 1989.
That man's
With-
paint on beard.
He
is
had,
the
amazing.
paint
he
on
had,
scruff.
yep,
Oh,
and then he had
horrible.
knives that he threw at everyone.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
little skulls. That was it. He's like, I'm punish you.
Oh, and there's a,
blah
there's,
blah blah. And
there's a great weird naked meditation scene in a sewer. That's bizarre.
Louis Gossett.
Louis
Jr.
Gossett Jr. is the cop
is-
that's trying to take down the Punisher, and same principle in all the Punishers.
Ninjas
It's the cop trying to take
with
him down.
machine guns on
Right.
slides.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So-
Dolph Lundgren's Punisher.
If you get a
Big
chance to
dog.
watch that, watch
just
that.
the worst.
And then there's the Thomas Jane, which also had Kevin Nash as the big,
Yeah.
weird striped shirt Russian guy that
Yep.
tosses him around.
Which is
That
okay.
scene, that
Fun
scene
fact.
is great.
Warzone's my favorite.
Ray Stevenson,
Ray Stevenson.
Warzone, great
It's
soundtrack.
really good.
Yeah,
Uber violent, Lionsgate.
it's wholly
It's-
ridiculous, but oh my
It's,
god,
it's
It
the
is.
Punisher.
So over the top, and it is the Punisher. And that's the one that actually he's got the suit on. I
Yeah.
mean, even in
Yeah.
the series now, he's got it on his chest like at the beginning. Hopefully in the second season,
yeah,
I think he's
we've
wearing
seen
it more.
images where he's
Right.
in the costume
Right,
with
but
the belt.
it's not.
It's not Punisher.
Yeah, unless he's wearing that and he's out
It
just.
is.
fighting-
It is.
But now he's
Yeah.
being chased, and they're trying to make it more real world drama and
Right.
stuff. I mean,
and
it's
I
harder
think that's
to.
okay for the.
It's hard to
the
go around
tone.
assassinating people nowadays. It
Right.
just
Yeah,
is.
it is, and I think that's okay for the tone that show is
Yeah.
going, especially since it spawned out
It's
of
getting there.
Daredevil.
It's getting
Weird.
there, and hopefully it'll
Warzone
continue.
definitely the best of the Punisher.
By
the movies,
hands
yeah.
down. R.I.P.D. Ripped Department.
yes.
Rest in Peace Department.
Peace
Rest in Peace Department.
It had the chick from Weeds, and of course
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds doing his
and
thing. Jeff Bridges, being Jeff Bridges,
Which-
cowboy like Jeff Bridges. I mean, it had some funny elements
Yeah,
to it. I
I
mean, it
didn't-
kind of fell short.
I didn't think it was great, but what a great
No.
pair of actors to
Yeah,
put together.
Yeah, it was funny watching them play together and stuff like
Exactly.
that. But I mean,
just fell short.
nothing outstanding. I mean, they had to arrest already dead people.
Yeah.
Or kill already dead people. It's along the veins of Men in Black. is
very
what
much, very much.
Pretty much.
All right,
About the
RIPD
same
is
thing.
If Ghostbusters
a lot
and
like
Men in
Hellboy
Black.
and Men in Black.
It
Ghostbusters
is.
Men in Black had a
It's a nice,
Yep.
yeah, and then shared it with Hellboy.
Yeah.
That would be what it is. Red and Red 2. Bruce
Red-
Willis.
Yeah.
Love
John Malkovich.
those
John
movies.
Malkovich is
So
great.
good.
in those.
What's her name? Oh, the Queen. What's her name?
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
I do. Oh god.
Not
Tell the people. Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren.
Yep.
Sorry.
Helen
Thank
Mirren.
you.
If
And
you hadn't
then,
asked, you know, it's one of those.
Right. It's just such a great cast of people.
It's-
And
it
Morgan
is
Freeman.
So well done.
Yeah.
dude.
And Morgan
Oh,
Freeman.
it's really well done.
And they're all just these badass ex-spies,
Yeah, they're-
hitmen, assassins
Got
that are
a little
just...
long in the tooth.
It did, yeah,
They're-
yeah.
they're
They're getting
people
up
that
there
are-
in years.
They're too old to be that
but they're
dangerous.
still as dangerous as
Yep.
the day they were born.
And that's the whole concept.
Yeah,
is
and
they're
in
super
both
old,
stories,
it's
and they're always
dangerous.
one step ahead, but not really. And it's
Yeah.
it's well done if you
It's
get a
very
chance
fun.
to see that one. 1985 was one of Stallone's wives from back in the day,
Yeah.
um, Brigitte Nielsen, who was in Rocky 4. Wasn't she the Russian?
yes.
Yep, so
Yeah.
Rocky
Yep.
4. She was in Rocky 4, and of course she Flava Flav. She did that thing where she mounted him for a while in that gross
Yeah.
show.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
reality TV. Yeah, gross.
And she was in Beverly Hills.
But
Cop
anyways,
2,
Red Sonja, which
Yep.
was a spin-off of Conan.
Of Conan.
right?
Yep, Conan the Barbarian.
Which
Conan the King.
even though Red Sonja was a character previous in the pulps,
Right, right.
Really,
she didn't gain
that
any popularity.
really feels much more like the Marvel comic.
It is
adaptation.
actually
Yeah.
Red Sonja the movie
Yeah.
is based on the Marvel comics.
Okay.
Yeah,
More so than the
And
novels.
pulp.
Conan, I think, was based more off the books.
books.
Yeah,
pulp,
they
yeah.
stayed off the pulps. and
Which is
such.
why they try to keep them kind of separated for a while.
1994, Macaulay Culkin was still a boy. And not on as many
That he
drugs,
was.
and he
Yeah.
didn't look like nearly as much crap as he does now. So he gave us Richie Rich.
That he did.
Why not? He wanted friends. He
Hey,
bought
man.
some. He learned an important lesson about life,
Helicopters
love, and himself.
and
Yeah, well.
golf and McDonald's in your
And
head.
that's
Come
a
on.
spin-off of Archie too.
And that is also
it
a
is.
spin-off of Archie. Yep, he was a rich kid in town, and
Was that
Still no Archie
was
movie.
that
Still
an
no
Archie?
Archie.
Wait, was that an Archie spinoff, or was that more from the Casper and Wendy side of things?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That could have been
I
more
think
of a
that was
Casper and
the
Wendy
Casper
kind of
Wendy,
thing.
I think it was. Part
It's
of
all
that
the same umbrella, but they're all connected in some way. 2002,
It's definitely the era.
Road to Perdition,
Awesome
Perdition.
movie.
An-
filmed in
Fantastic
Michigan.
film.
Another Paradox Press.
Tom Hanks and I can't think who else is in it, but Tom Hanks. I know he's
Tom
in
Hanks.
it.
That's enough.
The 30s.
Fantastic 1930s. Yep, it's got that cool feel to it. I mean, it's a grim.
It looks like the 19th.
a grim story.
There are some movies that are done modern that
Yep.
they try to look like the 30s.
That one
looked
worked really
like
well.
The 30s.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Felt right.
I didn't realize this this thread with Paradox books being written in Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe
That's
that's
two of them on
only-
our list.
Yeah,
Only
maybe they
two
just
film
we got to
properties
look
and
into
both
these
in
guys.
Michigan.
What's your deal with Michigan? buddy?
Yeah.
All right, The Rocketeer from
Who's writing
1991.
these?
Love it.
Great film.
Absolutely.
I love that. It was the style of that costume is still really cool. It's got that steampunk, but it's got that 1940s, you know, and the helmets all. I mean,
It's that old school modern technology.
yeah, old school modern technology. That's a good way to explain it. Yeah, that is a great movie.
that was what, Pacific?
Yeah.
Pacific Comics?
Pacific Comics. Yep.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She was a teenage movie. She was a teenage movie.
Teenage movie?
She was a teenage movie.
A Teenage Mutant. She was a TV movie in '96. She went to Rome in another TV movie.
Yup, she did.
She went down under. But now she's been rebooted. No, don't do that. She's been rebooted in more current levels along the lines of Riverdale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very
A lot
much like
darker. She hails the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
I was
she's,
like, which,
Even the comics have gone darker, and that's
Yeah,
from
actually,
the
that-
comics.
that-
Yeah,
series is
she's
based around the
tapping
comic.
heavy into the witchcraft.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And, so that's pretty cool. I mean, and,
those
the, and the
books-
one that I grew up with, you know, that was on Nickelodeon after we got out of school.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It'd be on. It'd be like, oh, okay. Sarah
I mean,
Jones.
I'm
Sarah
not gonna
Melissa
lie, I
Jones.
love that show.
Melissa Joan
Melissa
Hart.
Joan Hart.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love that show.
Clarissa.
Well,
she
if
she
for
explained
nothing
it all
else,
and
if for
became
nothing else,
Hobitch.
for Shalem the cat.
Shalem. Hello, Shalem.
Yeah, great stuff. Good book too. The new
The new one, yeah. It's got a good
Really
tone
new
to
Sabrina
it.
is really fantastic.
2010 gave us Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Scott
Fun
Pilgrim.
movie.
What
was
a
a good
That's
movie.
a fun movie.
There's a
That's
lot
great.
there.
Good
and
soundtrack.
a fantastic.
I dug the
soundtrack
music
done
throughout
by
the whole
Beck.
thing.
Yep.
Done by Beck.
Because Beck kind of looks like Scott Pilgrim, so
Oh my
that
God,
makes
he does.
sense.
Got a
And
weird
Chris Evans.
backstory.
Chris Evans
Yeah.
and Brie
Shows up.
Larson.
And Brie
it's-
Larson, Captain Marvel.
Most people
Yep.
don't know Scott Pilgrim is a Marvel property.
Yep, it is a Marvel property, but
They-
it looks like it's written like some kind
Created
of
like
little
a,
indie.
created like a manga.
Yep, like a manga indie.
Manga.
Manga.
Oh, jeez,
Mango.
Mangoes.
Mango.
2014. I'm not familiar with the Scribbler.
Neither am I.
He scribbles things.
He scribble. He doesn't
Doodler.
keep in the lines.
I guess maybe he just likes to write. Okay. Shazam. That's coming soon.
They
It
got it
looks
coming soon.
funny.
Very
And this is one of those weird ones. There was a cereal, and then but this is the biggest gap
it
from a
disappeared.
cereal to
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
movie.
oh yeah, the biggest gap because
Yeah.
they actually did other things with Batman and Captain America. Shazam, they made into a comic. Captain
Well,
Marvel.
Shazam had that TV show, Saturday morning TV show in the 70s.
That he did.
Yep.
With ISIS and
Yep.
Power Hour.
And
But
then they gave him his own family in the comics too. There was like
Yeah. Yeah,
Mary
Shazam.
Marvel. There was
I love
Kid
Mary
Shazam,
Batson.
and yeah. So they had a whole list of them out of that. But this
Oh, there's
new
like a
one,
dozen.
the guy from Chuck, wasn't it?
Yep.
That
Yes.
show
Yep.
Chuck, the TV series Chuck,
Good show.
which I never would have. He was also one of the three.
He was Fandral.
Fandral.
He was the warrior.
One of the
Fandral,
Warriors
the Warrior
3.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And I just
In
I
the
went back
second
after, but still after watching that, and then I look at this trailer now for Shazam, and I'm like, oh, that's just mind-boggling to me.
It is.
well,
I
the
mean,
other
he
weird
got in
one-
good shape for
one
it.
of the
but-
other Warriors 3 was
Ray Stevenson.
Ray
Ray
Stevenson
Stevens,
from
the
The Punisher.
Punisher.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing how these all tie together. We cracked the code, gentlemen. Sheena,
Sheena.
the Jungle Warrior.
Jungle
Jungle
Warrior.
Queen.
Yeah. Jungle
Marvel?
Queen.
That's based on... No, that was...
Well, that goes deep into the pulps as
It does.
well.
Yeah,
but
that's
yes,
more of the
has gone
pulps.
through several
But you're
different
right.
comic
Because
A
companies.
Marvel
Kazar-
property.
Kazar's wife,
Zabu,
Kazar.
and Sheena were
Zabu
all
and Sheena.
yeah,
Yep, from
all
the...
Marvel property.
early Marvel.
What's
Actually,
the name of the island?
It's not an island. It's
Savage
Savage
Land.
Savage
Thank
Lands.
you.
in Antarctica.
Right.
And
Right.
Kazar is hugely important. He first appeared in the first Marvel comic ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel
Yep.
Comics issue 1.
Yep.
Back when it was timely.
Yep.
Kazar.
Kazar.
And he's
Yep.
been in a lot of things. He tangles with the X-Men a lot.
The X-Men
They help each
and-
other.
and
And
Captain
the
America
Hulk.
quite
And
a
they
bit.
bumped in.
Sauron comes
Yep,
from the
he's
Savage
he's
Land.
still
Sauron
out
comes from
there.
the Savage
Yep,
Land.
still hanging around.
Yep.
Shockwave, Darkseid, 2014. Don't know.
Don't know about that one.
Don't know. All right, moving on.
Now we get something to talk about.
Also Frank Miller, and we talked about Brittany Murphy.
That we did.
Sin City. which is a fantastic adaptation. I mean, just the tone of it, the imagery, the chapters, the characters. I mean, even the actors who were playing the characters. Mickey Rourke.
They
really brought him back out.
Mickey Rourke was
came
great.
back around again.
And
as
then
Whiplash.
Okay.
As Whiplash.
Can I just say that Elijah Wood is goddamn terrifying?
He is terrifying.
Wow.
Bruce Willis did a great job. Josh Brolin shows up in the second one. Josh Hartnett shows up in the second one.
Eva Green in the second one?
Eva Green.
She's also in Rise of Empire.
Yep, and the 300 movie.
300
because
one,
she's a good actress. Yeah, a lot of people are easily interchangeable within the universes. So, but
what I think we're starting to realize, and I think what everyone
it's a
else
Frank
in the world
Miller
is
thing,
realizing
clearly,
is that there is fantastic storytelling going on in comics that translates well because it's visual media.
It's always been there.
Yep.
And
we're
you
just
know what?
It depends on who you have
it's
telling
more
the
than
story.
just looks. It's story.
That's exactly it. Sparks from 2013. I don't know that one.
Neither do I.
But I know this now.
Nope. Spawn. We do know
Spawn.
that. 97.
Spawn.
That soundtrack changed a lot of things. That was where you were merging things like the movie
metal and hip hop acts.
The movie Judgment Night.
Judgment Night was
that was one of the first ones that introduced me to that culmination of things.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And then the Spawn soundtrack really just brought it home.
Yep.
Oh, that Kirk Hammett track.
Yep. And now the fact that
the Manson track.
We're getting a new one.
Hard Road Out of Hell.
And we're getting a new Spawn. And Todd McFarlane wants to make it like paranormal, like Spawn's just this terrifying entity, and I'm excited about it.
Oh, me too. He's been threatening that movie.
He has, and the fact that he's got his hands in it. I mean, he had his hand in the other one, but for the time,
you can only do so much.
It was okay for the time, as long as I'm not getting John Leguizamo squatting in a suit yelling at me the whole time.
Leguizamo's the best part of that.
He did a good clown.
By far, he's my favorite.
I don't know, but then they CGI'd, and now. Yeah, Malbosia and all that stuff is just too hokey.
He ate those maggots on that pizza.
I know what it was trying.
You're going,
but it was still that was also it should have been done later. You know what I mean? It should have been done now as opposed to when it was done. But it was just riding off that popularity. But that character was
hot, and you got striking with the iron's hot.
And back then we had the animated Spawn on HBO.
That's what I was gonna say.
Which
they already had the animated.
The animated Spawn was good,
and that's what the first 12 issues.
Yeah, the Max, which was on MTV, which was good.
Easily my all-time
favorite. They took Sam Keith's artwork. They just spilled it out, and they just
I love it. Sam Keith has actually gone on record to say that he had more creative control over the show than he did the book.
Sure. Yeah, I bet, and you can see it too. Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
Because he had written far more than those first 12 issues by the time the series came around. So he honed it, and he made that story work.
The Max is easily my favorite of the animated ad.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. As is the Spawn.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I did like the first one when it came out. Didn't have a problem with it. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I liked it.
I thought the second one was better, actually.
I liked The Amazing Spider-Man more than I liked Spider-Man.
Okay.
But I do like Spider-Man. I'm madly in love with little Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah.
And his little Spider-Man and butt.
Yep.
Because he is just adorable.
He is Peter Parker.
He is a Peter, but even in the suit, he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid, he does the stunts and the gymnast, and he's just got this awkward teenager. I'm in high school.
I mean, they hired a 19-year-old.
They did, and they did, but they made such a good choice with him. I mean, he can just do no wrong in my eyes, and the fact that they keep using him for more and more and more is just amazing.
And
now
I had first seen him in The Impossible, and when I found out he was Spider-Man,
he was also what was that movie about the dancer kid?
Unfamiliar.
Billy Elliot. He was Billy Elliot.
Yep.
And I think on stage, I'm not sure, but he was the kid who wanted to do ballet and dance.
Yeah.
And the kid knows how to dance. I mean, he's good.
Oh, he can dance.
Into the Spider-Verse just recently was released in theaters.
I'm very excited. Yeah,
theaters?
I believe
it's a theatrical release.
It's a big release.
Yeah.
Spider-Ham's in it. Peter Parker, the amazing Spider-Ham.
Yep.
Which
cracks me up. John
Mulaney,
perfect.
Right, it's got a good comedic voice on it, but no, I mean that's a game changer for the Spider-Man animated
for sure.
show.
Miles Morales, which is a favorite Spider-Man,
he's a big hit nowadays, and they got the Spider-Gwen in there, and they want to do something with her. I mean,
so
it's just
huge on that movie because Miles is my Spider-Man.
Yeah, see, and Spider-Man's my Spider-Man.
When I became a teenager, Miles Morales.
My only problem now in the comics, there's just too many. They have all these. Spider-Verse. Okay, great. Well, tell stories about that, but why do they all have to be? I understand that, and it's going to go away at some point. It's like when they started doing the Clone Wars. It's like, okay, it's too much, and now that's just one of the most hated storylines.
The Clone Saga. Okay, I thought you meant like Clone Wars, like the show.
I say Clone Wars.
Clone Wars is good.
People aren't big on that. Not the second. Not that second Star Wars movie. The fuck it was. But the whole Clone Saga of it's one of the most dreaded, hated because it's so drawn out and so confusing and it's just so
Went from
tries
9
to.
parts to 2.5 years.
It's stupid. Anyways, The Spirit, 2008. I liked it. I tried tonally to be like The Spirit. It had some elements, and of course Samuel L. Jackson and Scarlett Johansson, and any
Great
other
designs.
woman who looked good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't
Good designs.
dig it as a movie. I don't think it worked.
They tried
for me,
too
but
much
it was
to
really
make
cool
it like
looking.
Sin City, like that
Yeah.
style, and I mean,
it
it fell very short of that. However,
they had Frank Miller making a movie. It's
wow, Spy Smasher was a serial. Had no idea. 1940 Spy Smasher was a comic book from like the 40s.
yeah.
Guy who smashed spies. Steel, 1997.
Shaquille O'Steal.
Shaquille O'Steal.
O'Steal.
That would probably be under one of our VHS reviews, I'm sure, at some point.
Can't
it's
wait.
not good. They wanted to do a Iron Man, Superman.
Well, it was after the death of Superman. There
Yep,
were the
the reign of the Superman.
Yeah,
They're-
this
they're
guy,
both-
he just remembered that Superman saved
Superman
him one
saved him
day.
once.
And I want to be Superman now.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I mean, he was the best of them.
Was he?
Superboy was the
Superboy.
worst.
Don't tell
like
me he
Superboy
was
better. I don't know.
worse than
Superboy's I'm on
Superboy
Superboy.
or
I'm on
Cyborg
Superboy's side.
Superman.
Hank Henshaw.
The Eradicator.
The Eradicator is
Yeah.
the worst. That visor.
Suicide Squad 2016 was already done as an animated feature called Attack on Arkham.
Salt.
Yeah.
Either way, it was already done in animated form.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. You just
it was
got
done
wrong.
better.
It was done better.
Oh,
I
way better.
have a problem with Jared Leto's Joker.
I have a
say
problem
it.
that they won Best Visual Effects Makeup for
Yeah,
Killer
that's
Croc.
Not
Yeah,
necessary.
especially considering it was in the same one of their competitors was Star Trek.
And why was Killer Croc some big thug? He was like some southern crocodile man thing. You know what I mean? He needed to be
Alligator-
more
Crazy
menacing.
alligator man.
He needed to be big and scary. He needed to be like, even if they
Like the Ron
CGI'd it.
Perlman one.
Everything.
Yeah,
Everything
just needed to be.
something.
I
everything
love
needed to
Ron
be
Perlman.
something.
Everything
Well,
needed to be
Harley
something
Quinn
that
was
wasn't
fine.
there.
Harley Quinn was fine. That was the only
That
thing.
was modern Harley Quinn.
And the
in a
fact that they
nutshell.
did give us Batman for a second, that's good. But
And
that
the
Joker
Flash,
with
too,
the gold
right?
teeth and the
I'm not mixing those up, right? The Flash was also in that one, right? He captures Captain Boomerang.
maybe.
It's,
might be
it's
right.
all convoluted.
That
Okay.
is- it's all a blur when it comes to DC to me. Supergirl 1984, I mentioned that earlier. Helen Slater
Yep.
played Supergirl. It was.
Which came out
It was-
before, what, 3 and 4?
It was. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, it was in
just
between
somewhere
there.
in
You're
there.
like, oh, you know what? There is a Supergirl. Let's make a movie about her.
Yep.
You've already got four
Well,
other
actually, scroll back
Supermans.
down because it's got the. Let me.
1984.
So she came out in
84.
84. It would have been after Superman 3, before 4. Yeah. And 4.
4
A
is
lot
the
of people
worst.
don't really want to think about the Quest for Peace
Quest for
with
Peace,
the guy
no.
with the sunshine on his
Oh,
shoulder
yeah,
or
the
whatever it was. He had a
Nuclear Man or
Nuclear Man, yep.
Nuclear Man.
nuclear.
Nuclear Man.
No.
It was
Cool.
ridiculous. Which is kind of like the
Oh, yeah.
serial Adam Man vs Superman. It's like they kind of tried to rehash some shit from
Yeah,
the 40s
absolutely.
and bring it into modern day time
It
and
just-
do it that way, but it didn't work.
No.
So yeah, Superman did a few things throughout the 40s, 50s, and then Superman 1, 2, 3, 4, Superman Returns,
which is a sequel to Superman 2.
Superman Routh, right, with Brandon
which-
Routh as a Superman.
Which fell.
Who
very
is now
flat
on the
with me.
DC property
And it's so
Legends of
flat.
Tomorrow.
Yep, and it breaks my heart too because Bryan Singer left X-Men to do Superman Returns.
Bryan Singer should have left X-Men a long time before that.
I know, but X-Men 3 wouldn't be nearly as bad if he hadn't have done the bad
True.
Superman movie.
Yeah, that's you have to take
And
one with the
and
other.
And as far as those go, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, is
Way better, yeah.
way better. It takes my favorite Superman of the original movies and makes it even better.
And like I said, I
It's
do
fun.
I do like the Henry Cable. Henry Cable's good.
I like him as well.
All right, Surrogates. I didn't catch a lot of that one. I think it's the one Bruce Willis and another one.
Yeah.
2009. Wild sci-fi. Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Return of the Swamp Thing. Yeah.
That was I remember watching that movie as a kid
Yeah.
on HBO.
on TBS or
and it's
HBO or
still
whenever
real
it come on. I would
special
still
to me.
still watch it.
It could have been Adrian Barbeau.
And the last Comic
Okay.
Comic-Con that came to town here, we got an opportunity to meet her.
Yep.
And she was sweet as could be. She was the nicest lady.
And that's wonderful.
And I wanted to tell her, she had lipstick on her teeth. I want to be like, could you
Yeah, but
just not... I
I
probably
kinda
should have.
think you should have. I think you should have.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of kicking myself for it. But anyway,
But I enjoyed Swamp Thing.
they're putting it back out in DC.
Yep.
They're doing it. There's already clips of our Alec Holland rowing a boat around the swamp.
Boat.
They may get Barbeau in it as some some aspect. I
was
had
thinking that
heard
would be
some
nice.
rumors or
really
something I
like
read
that.
about it coming out. So
Especially,
yeah,
you know, like they did that with Lou Ferrigno.
right. But they're gonna make
Do
it
it
dark, and it's gonna be cool because they have to.
I'd love to see it based on.
A
the
lot of
Alan
people
Moore
don't know Tales from the Crypt started as a
books.
comic.
EC comic.
EC Comics.
EC Comics,
The-
yep, and it was creepy. And you know, Mystery Science Theater comic books that are out nowadays, they kind of throw back to that, where
Yes.
they make Crow like the
Crypt
Crypt Keeper
Keeper,
character with that
the old
same
witch
style of the
and-
art and the stories and stuff.
Oh,
and
there's
it's
a Vault
very,
Keeper?
yeah,
The Vault
yeah,
Keeper, the
very,
Vault Keeper
very,
and the
it's
Old Witch.
very, very cool.
It's very creepy.
And of course we had Demon Knight, which was
I love
now,
Demon Knight.
Now, Demon Knight and Bordello Blood,
Mm-hmm.
based more off
Did you say
the.
there's an MST3K comic?
Yeah.
it's already 3 issues in. Yeah, I'll bring him in.
Yeah, they throw a character into a situation.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And then they riff it.
No, you'll see. It's
Okay.
you'll check it out. We're gonna talk about it too, but
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah, Demon Knight, Bordello Blood, and Ritual, based more on the TV
I didn't
TV
see Ritual.
show. But
They pull from
the
comic
1972
stories, right?
Amicus film
Okay,
is based directly on stories
Really?
from the issues.
nice.
I mean,
As
which are-
was the series.
this-
Demon Knight was
the
great.
TV
Billy
shows.
Zane was a
love that
fantastic
movie.
demon.
I love that movie.
Spirit, and
Yeah.
then Bordello Blood. I still like
Great
Dennis Miller.
soundtrack again too.
Yeah.
Demon Knight.
Yeah,
Demon
Demon Knight
Knight
had a good one. Yeah, Ritual. I'm gonna have
Rituals
to
was
watch
like
that one.
later.
Yeah,
I have to
I've
watch
never
this
seen
again.
Ritual.
I watched
good.
the latest, the Littlest Reich Puppet Master, with
Okay.
Thomas Lennon,
Oh,
where they
yeah,
redid
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
It's kind of awesome, but kind of
It's
not.
kinda great.
Kind of awesome, kind of not. But I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, B movies? Yeah, I'll watch
why
them.
not?
That was fantastic.
Why
oh no,
not?
it was terrible. Don't get me wrong.
But you enjoyed
I-
it.
But it was fantastic, right? I've just grown to. I'm so jaded and cynical at this point in my life. And one of my favorites, one of my top 5s, Tank Girl.
Me too. Tank Girl is great.
Yep.
Tank Girl is great. My wife, huge fan of Tank Girl. The comic series
Ice-T.
is Ice-T is a giant
Doug
kangaroo
Jones.
mutant.
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones, yep. Which
Yep.
he was just at our Comic Con up
Yep.
here in Grand
Yeah.
Rapids.
And he was a
Sweet
treasure.
The
man.
Shape of Water, Oscar nominees. I don't know, did
Oscar
they win?
winner.
Hellboy?
Hellboy.
Both
He was
Hellboys.
also.
Pan's
He
Labyrinth.
likes the fish characters.
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth.
He's
Yep.
into the Fishmen.
He's a fishman. He is a fishman.
He's-
Tank Girl
most
is
of
a
the time.
great
It-
adaptation.
Yeah.
Good soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh God,
Um,
what's that guy's name? Made Tank Girl. He's the other
The
half
bad
of the
guy?
Gorillas.
Oh, the
The artist.
artist.
Jack Kerouac. They do mention Jack Kerouac a lot. I haven't watched that in a while. Teen Titans Go to
Gonna
the
kill me.
movies. Stan Lee has a cameo in it
A big
because Stan Lee. I
because
talked
he's
about.
important. To
I
that.
did
Yeah.
a show. It was just me in here talking before we decided to do an actual.
Before
a co-
you were needed.
Before I needed
Yeah.
a co-host, and I decided I didn't want to just sit here talking to myself all day. Of
It's
Stan
too much
Lee,
like
you know,
home.
he was involved with everybody. You
Yeah.
know? He's willing to
Well,
help
they
out
knew
all of
DC.
them, and he
They
was
all knew
important.
each other, and they all had lunches together.
Yeah.
What was it?
He was
like 30
influential.
Years, they were a block apart.
Yeah.
Movies, comics, he's very influential to a lot of pop culture, and he'll
Mm-hmm.
just peek in and give his 2 cents, which is great. The Ninja Turtles
Ninja
started
Turtles.
as not a cartoon.
No.
A lot of the kids
Or toys.
think, or toys. No,
Comics.
Comic
most of the toys spawned from the cartoon.
Yep.
Cartoon spawned from the comic.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the movie kind of loosely spawned from the cartoon.
Yeah.
They didn't
more.
really
To
go
an
with the
extent, yeah.
darker tone of the comics that they had and a little bit more violence and stuff.
And
But it
that-
was fun.
But that wasn't their audience. At
No,
the time.
but it
No,
was
and
great,
that's okay.
and that gave me a lot in the '90s. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
that
sure.
was such a
Yeah, and-
fantastic movie.
You know, of course, I think we can unanimously prefer the first one because it is more serious.
Yeah.
It is more violent.
Yeah.
It is darker.
And then Michael Bay did things.
And then Michael Bay, well, he produced them.
Yeah.
I think that's just as bad.
It's
but
a cherished memory to me because my kid brother, and I were
Right.
10 years apart.
Okay.
He was very into the Ninja Turtles
Mm-hmm.
and He-Man at the time. And I was, in high school, so I could take him to go see the Ninja Turtles movie
you
in the
could
theater.
live vicariously,
and
like
we
that.
could have
Yeah.
that,
have
like,
that bond.
I'd read these
Which is
comics
nice.
and you're watching these cartoons,
Right.
and we're gonna have
So,
a good
yeah.
time.
Oh,
So it's gonna
that's
be good.
awesome.
I didn't mind the second latest Ninja Turtles, but of course, I have
like
a feeling
Out of the
that
Shadows is that?
Michael Bay picks his movies by just like shitting in an old toy box, and whatever he hits, he's like, "This is my new movie."
Battleship.
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 Yeah.
You made a movie about a board game where you put pegs in a boat, for God's sakes.
Hey,
you
at
know
least
what?
It
Aliens.
worked for Jumanji.
At least they're not
Aliens.
threatening
Thanks,
us
jerk.
with the Tetris movie anymore.
Well,
that was
yeah.
a thing.
That's still, don't rule it out.
We had pixels.
With Pixels, that was about as close as we're gonna get, maybe.
I hope.
TMNT from 2007, though. I
I liked
really
that. I liked
the
that a
animated
lot.
one, that was good. That was more
It
paced
was,
with.
it was connected to the.
It was
first
more
one, so
connected.
it was
Yep.
kinda-
Yeah.
Term Life, I don't know, from 2016.
Do I?
I'm
That's what we were
thinking it's
thinking. Yeah,
insurance.
it's gotta be.
I know about insurance. Thor,
Thor.
Dark World. You guys are Dark World guys. You guys
Yeah,
enjoyed the Dark
yeah, I
World.
got the
Okay.
Dark World.
Dark
I-
World gets a lot of crap thrown at it, but I think it's
was
definitely
good.
important to the overall.
Recycle stuff.
Yeah,
Christopher Eccleston. Yeah.
absolutely. No, and I thought it was a good movie.
We get a Doctor.
I mean,
Doctor Who in the MCU.
Yeah, and you know we find out about the Infinity Stones, the collectors in it for the
yeah,
first
there's
time.
a little bit more information.
We get
Malekith.
Malekith.
Yeah, he's terrifying. Thor Ragnarok is by far the best of the three.
Oh,
I mean, it's
yes,
fun.
no question.
The soundtrack, the Hulk's in it. I mean, the humor.
Yeah, it's
Taika
fantastic.
Waititi.
Oh yeah, Mark
mean,
Mothersbaugh does the score.
And
Holy
right,
crap!
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot tied to that. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just great. Time Cop, I did not know was based on a comic book.
Yeah.
And I liked it when I first saw it in the 90s. I'm like, oh yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's Time Cop. Sweet.
Yeah.
And then
Is it though?
No.
No.
It's not. It is, but it isn't. Time Cop 2, didn't know that even happened.
Kick puncher.
When did Time Cop 2 happen? 2003? Don't know.
He's Time Cop. It could happen before.
Anytime.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it happens whenever the damn well chooses. Trailer Park of Terror. We've watched this, my wife and I, a few times.
Never
I
seen this.
enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I liked it.
It was fun.
It's your
It
trilogy
was-
of horror stories.
Yeah. Well, it was my name is Earl meets George Romero.
Yeah. It's bloody. It's
it's-
weird.
Is
Tongue-in-cheek
it
funny.
along the same veins as like Tucker and Dale?
Very
Yes.
close. Very
Yeah,
similar
it's-
vein.
Okay,
but
so
it's-
I'd probably dig
it's
it then.
so
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, that's worth checking out.
sure.
Nothing really came out under you.
No.
Recently, I think they're going to start doing the Umbrella Academy.
Yes,
That
they're
Gerard
doing that
Way.
as a
Yep.
series.
I know they got some figures coming out, and they want to do a series
They're
for
doing
that.
a series, and it looks like
yeah.
they're doing some in
So
it
that'll probably be. Oh, besides Underdog, can you count that?
Cartoon.
cartoon first.
But
Cartoon.
then it was a movie, so it still even beat out the Umbrella Academy.
But there's no comic.
But the comic came after the cartoon.
There might be.
Um,
V for Vendetta.
Oh,
That was a good one.
that's
Hot take: better movie than a book.
Remember, the 5th of
5th of
November.
November.
Yep. That gets a lot of people to still say that and post weird memes around the time of day.
And they don't
Yep.
know why
And
they're
they've
saying it.
never read a single page of that.
It breaks my heart how many people know that movie and
Because they
don't know
want
who Guy
Parliament to fall.
Fawkes is.
It's
Right.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that actually
That
happened, you
happened,
guys. Right. Vampirella, direct-to-video in 96.
But worth
Tia,
noting because
No, what was her name? Can't remember. She was big on doing some horror stuff back then. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then
Right.
Roger Daltrey from The
Roger
Who.
Daltrey from The Who. Yeah.
But the fact a character that's that beloved in the comic realm took that long to get a even direct-to-video
yeah.
movie.
It takes a while for that. Next, we have Vault of Horror, 1973.
The second Amicus film based on Tales from the Crypt.
Like Tales
Yeah.
from the Crypt. Yep. Vault
Were
of
they
Horror.
were they
Same
planning
vein.
on doing a third one to match each character?
I would assume so, but
I think so,
by
yeah.
73, Amicus and Hammer as
They were
well
phasing out.
started to collapse. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it just probably didn't happen.
just
Didn't
didn't
come
Eventually.
about.
Venom. That actually
Venom,
comes out
yeah.
on Blu-ray and DVD on the 19th, I
Yeah.
believe. 18th, 19th. I think that's
Something
coming out
like
very
that, real
soon.
soon,
So
and,
just in
they've
time for the
got a
holidays.
figure, and
Yeah, of
Yep.
course they do. Which, I like Venom. I haven't seen this movie yet.
Neither have I.
I'm gonna wait.
I'm waiting too. And
I
that's-
do
it's
like the
sad.
character, but I don't understand how you can do spin-offs of characters from a character's universe without the character.
Without
Yeah.
the source.
They're like, oh, we're gonna do Silver Sable. We're gonna do Black Cat's. Like,
to the point that we
Who are
haven't
they?
even mentioned that
Yeah, who are they?
character's name.
Yeah.
right?
Because maybe
we
not
don't know
allowed
who
to.
they are. Yeah, exactly. It's like, why are you rushing things?
because
don't
without,
do
and
that.
without a Spider-Man, you don't have a.
There it is. He did it. He broke it.
And
he
that's
broke the gag.
and
You know?
everybody knows that, but people are still raving about it. Like, oh no, this movie's it's making money because it's so great. It's like, no, probably because they're confused and trying to figure out what connects everything.
It's making money because you're going
Right.
to see
We
it.
got to go see
Hardy,
it.
man.
We gotta go see it
I
3 or
do
4
like Tom
times
Hardy.
just to put it together.
Tom Hardy's a good actor. Virus from
Yeah, he is.
1999.
I love Virus.
Enjoyed Virus a lot.
It's more like an outbreak movie.
No. God.
Computer viruses, right?
Yeah.
That's part of
Okay.
yeah, a signal from space.
They're aliens and they take
Right.
over organic material.
They
with robot parts.
biomechanize.
Ooh,
Biomechanize.
nice. So they give it the old aliens treatment.
It's
Yeah.
horrific and awesome.
It is.
Bill Geiger. Throw the Geiger on.
Very much like that, yeah.
Kind of if you take that with hardware that we
Oh,
talked about
okay.
earlier.
Yeah.
That's what you got. Yeah.
Interesting enough. All right. Walking Dead. It's huge now.
Not a movie, but oh my god, what an impact in the comic world.
It really has. I mean, it was a great series.
Yeah.
I've read through the
Still is.
series. My wife's read through
I'm
the series.
not- I'm not
A
the
lot of
comic
it.
series,
Yeah, the
still
comic
very
series.
I'm not
yeah.
nearly as much a fan as I used to be.
And I
No,
hear
I dropped off
a lot of the
midway
new
through,
stuff they're
but-
doing with Walking Dead. Our roommate watches it pretty religiously. We don't
Right.
have time. We're so behind on seasons. She
Oh,
said,
I cannot
Yeah.
catch up.
and
I'm
some of
waiting till
the
it's
trailers
over.
and stuff I've seen, it's pretty outstanding from what
Hey.
I've caught.
You might know this. Are they doing whispers? Is that
Rumor
happening
rumor
right now?
has it it's supposed to be what's
Oh,
going on. Yeah,
that
so a
excites
lot of it
me.
they are taking a lot of elements still from
From
the
the
comics, and it's translating really well, and people are liking it, so it's
That's
great.
exciting.
Wanted came out in 2008. That's another one,
Very-
James McAvoy.
Not a fan of the film.
100% different from the comic.
The comic
Yeah,
is
very
good.
different from the comic.
Very
apparently, he's a hitman. Angelina Jolie has to train him. Morgan Freeman does something
and they
Yeah, which is-
they can bend bullets around corners.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
flatten their
It
density to
it
glass.
it
Yeah.
gets a
And-
little matrixy.
and I love it because none of that is in the
yeah,
comic.
no, it's the physics of
It's-
the movie. It's
no,
not connected. It's
it's
well worth
a-
watching, but it's just one of those escape movies.
Yeah.
Watchmen, the director's cut, the ultimate cut. I don't know why those are all separate.
I
It's always-
wondered that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
It's
something
The
they
Watchmen.
do.
Tales of the
But now
Black
they
Freighter.
also have the new series that's going to be coming out on
Yep.
HBO. Don Johnson for some reason.
Which
in it.
more?
Well,
Again,
okay,
a
there's
lot
a
of
weird.
more.
Here's a weird Don Johnson thing.
Okay.
This is a total side thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I did a podcast a few years ago with the animation director who did Tales of the Black Freighter,
Yep.
who was in works with doing a remake of A Boy and His Dog,
Okay.
which starred Don Johnson.
Weird.
And Don Johnson was going to be the voice of the dog in the animated
That's brilliant.
version. And the fact that Don Johnson's coming back into all this and tying into it, there's a spider web there.
Yeah. A lot could happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? Tales of the
after
Black
Watchmen.
Freighter. I'm
Weird
not
science.
sure about that
Oh,
one.
that's
It's
the
Weird
the-
Science.
the story within.
Yeah, it's the
Watchmen.
pirate ship.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, the Black Freighter one.
Yeah.
Weird Science is Weird Science from 1985.
One of those movies that even I didn't know was based on
I
a
was
comic.
absolutely shocked, and I loved that movie.
I did
Growing
too.
up, I mean, that was what you
It's
aspired to
This
be.
is
yeah.
not a whale's dick, honey.
You've always wanted to make your own woman in a closet. Who hasn't?
So I did a little research.
Oh, please.
Joel Silver, the producer, acquired the rights from the 1950s EC comic
Okay.
from one of the Weird Science issues, number 5,
Okay.
a story called Made of the Future, which
So it's
the movie
Nice.
is
So
based
it's
on.
actually based.
On a comic.
Literally on a comic
it
book,
pulls
yeah.
its title from not the story, but
It
from
pulls
the
its
comic.
title
That it
from
was.
the
But
book,
the
but the
story-
story comes from an
Another story in Weird
In that
Science.
book.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like that. When the Wind Blows, that's an 86 animated one. Not familiar with, and that
I'm
was
not-
more my.
Neither am I.
That's my decade too. So, Whiteout, Kate Beckinsale,
Yep.
2009. She does something in the snow, the Arctic. It kind of reminds me of like The Thing. You know what I mean?
That kind of
But it's like
isolated.
Yeah, very-
isolated.
yeah.
It's blizzardy.
Yeah.
That something's trying to kill you. There might be blood in the snow. Wilson, 2017. I don't know that one.
Not
Uh,
familiar.
About a volleyball?
I thought it was. That's the continuation. That's the sequel
Yeah,
to
it's the spin-off
to
from
Castaway.
Castaway, yeah.
Right. The continuing story of Wilson as he bobbles around the ocean for a while.
He finds the Black Freighter.
Right. I guess Wolverine X-Men Origins happened. I don't remember it. The Wolverine was pretty
Got
good.
better.
Oh yeah,
It
a lot
got better. Logan,
Logan?
of course. That was
Bar none,
that
that's
was
fantastic.
that was the a good finishing chapter for what it was.
It was
Introduced
the
Laura
perfect
Kinney.
end.
And yeah, she did a great job. And Patrick Stewart just losing his mind with his
the
powers.
fact that he
and-
didn't get an award nod at least
right
is-
is astounding to me.
Yeah, because he was
blew it out.
great.
Really
Oh, man.
fantastic.
It was dramatic. It had a lot going to it, and it's a shame that
I'm not
you know,
gonna lie, that character, those movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I am who I am
and how you are.
and how I am. Yeah, I'm a killing machine.
That makes perfect sense.
That
You're a
was
murder
so
machine.
important
Don't-
to me.
Yeah. Shouldn't say on the internet you're a killing machine. You know, people knocking on
I'm
your
a
door,
killing
so-
machine.
Yeah, that's
Just
good.
killing them all.
X-Men has had a few.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, I'm
Wonder Woman.
sorry,
Choo-choo.
Wonder Woman. So that most
Wonder
recent
Woman.
Gal Gadot.
One
She's
of,
popped
one of
up in-
DC's few
It's a better one.
It's great.
on target
good.
films.
No, they did good. It's the story of Diana.
I think it kind of falls apart in the
Princess of
third act a little.
Themyscira, as she
Yeah.
says it.
Oh, it's so great.
But yeah, it sticks to the material.
Yeah.
She shows up
Feels
in
good.
1941. She's just, fighting
Actually,
bad guys and
World War One. So
Yeah.
it's 19. World War 1912, 1913.
I think it was a little later than that, but
Okay.
you're right on the money.
you're close. You're
Yeah.
in there. But either way,
I'm in a decade.
she spanned the test of time, and
Yep.
her new movie that's going to be coming out set in the 80s.
84,
still, but yeah,
right?
I think it
Yeah.
should be good. And Kristen Wiig is
Yeah.
going to be the Cheetah.
That surprised me.
That is going to be interesting.
It's bold, but I'm excited to see it.
I mean, she's a funny character, and I've seen a lot of her stuff, and she cracks me up.
Oh yeah.
It could work.
But you're going to be a cheetah person now and doing action stuff? All right, I guess. I mean, I'll take
We're
it.
rolling with this.
We're talking about a company that gave us Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
And that's
So
that's true. All right, and now on to the X-Men. They've done things. Their timelines has been askewed. For some reason, it's never about the original team.
Okay.
no.
So
First
It's
class
never
is,
about-
First Class is my favorite.
I was gonna
First
say,
Class-
we all
Class
just
is the
agree
best.
Matthew Vaughn.
No,
No?
no, because that wasn't the first. That's not. That's not how that works. You can't just take and rewrite the comics and history on this
No,
stuff.
he said it was the best.
Of the movies.
I know. I'm still not down with that.
What do you think is the best? I want to know.
I'm not even big on any of these, to be honest with you. Days of Future Past was kind of cool. I mean, I like the fact that they tried to add Sentinels, but those even look terrible. Apocalypse, I don't even know what the hell they did in that thing. Dark Phoenix, I heard, is supposed to look really, really good and stick closer to the source material, but again, none of the X-Men movies have been about the original team. They've never been about the original class. They've never been about Scott, Jean, Bobby,
is
Beast,
the worst
and
X-Men
Angel.
movie. The closest we got was X-Men 3: The Last Stand, because all of them were in it.
We're in it at one point in time.
I don't think
and
they ever meet.
kind of are in the Dark Phoenix, but it just
Now
it makes
Apocalypse,
no
I like
sense
the
to
first
me.
half of Apocalypse.
There's a couple parts in that.
First half is basically a Magneto story, and I enjoyed that part.
Right, what they do with Magneto are fine. I mean,
not even just
Fassbender
Fassbender
is a good
Magneto,
actor.
but I really
He was in 300.
love his work in the X-Men movies.
He was in 300.
Yep.
He was in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Video game.
So,
Loosely based on
but yeah,
something
the
else.
X-Men films unanimously have really, for the most part, disappointed us.
They have disappointed, and if they get into Marvel's hands, hopefully they incorporate it. And rumor has it that they're going to try and do something with
them,
and they're going to make it into something that's going to bring people back to the X-Men. But it's going to be hard to do because, like I said, their timelines and everything else, and people they've killed off, and things that disappeared.
You've given
Hugh Jackman's already had his run, and they
taste.
tried to make Wolverine this big main character in all of them. He wasn't.
No. He doesn't need to be the main character.
And he wasn't. Even when they came into giant-sized X-Men, he was just secondary character. He's one of the team.
Yep.
Your mains are like your leader of the team who makes the decisions. They
it's
clash and butt heads, and
Cyclops.
he's the rebel and goes off and does stuff or whatever. The loose cannon. They're turning your gun and badge, Wolverine. Want it on my desk by noon. All right, we're gonna do another.
Declawed neuter.
All right. All right. So there's been a lot of movies that have been adapted from comic books. There's going to be many more to come. We're going to tackle that in just a minute with our second segment. Stay tuned. We're coming right back.
We'll be here.
Deal. All right. We are going to quick go over a lot of things that are coming. There's a lot of things coming.
It's gonna happen.
It's we've gone over adaptations that have become films, mistakes they have made in the past. Hopefully, things will get resurrected and recalled and recanted and redone and refixed. And we'll see what happens. Aquaman comes out Friday.
I'm excited for it.
There are very, very high hopes coming for this, and I hear it's a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of people early rave reviews about it, so this could be along the lines of their Wonder Woman, one of the best ones yet.
I'm excited to see comic
with those
Aquaman.
two characters. Like if you do their solo movies do okay.
Yeah.
The more you add, the harder it gets.
Definitely.
That's just how it is. There's a lot of people
that's always
sharing
gonna be
screen
how it
time,
is.
and it's hard to pick a favorite
Well,
and stuff
they
like
haven't
that.
built up to it, and that's the problem.
Come on,
They
Black
haven't.
Manta.
You
They
try and
haven't.
do it all at
Black
once.
Manta looks great.
You can't tell me that's not the coolest thing.
It is cool. We also have Glass coming out. It is not technically a comic book movie. It is about comic books.
That it is, yeah. Sequel to...
Because Mr. Glass is a comic book shop owner, and he fancies himself a supervillain. He thinks there's a superhero, which there is. And now we have James McAvoy's character from Split.
Which is
fantastic.
Oh, that was a come out of nowhere movie that was great.
Man, that was one of those
Amazing
sleepers that hit you, and you're just like, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know where he came from, or he gets all that, but the kid's incredible.
How are you in Wanted?
How are you? Yeah. Why did you do these other movies?
How are you Mr. Tumnus?
It happens to the best of them. You got to start somewhere. Captain Marvel will be
Excited.
joining us
Very
soon to
excited.
save the universe or explain exactly how she's going to help us against Thanos, because she's coming. She's on her way.
Black suit's
Another
coming.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, the other Captain
Sort of.
Marvel.
Shazam.
The original Captain Marvel, technically.
Yep.
But now he's just Shazam. So he'll be coming soon, and that actually looks fun and exciting.
It looks very fun.
Looks like a child trapped in a superhero body.
Which is what Shazam
That's
was?
what it's supposed to be. They're working on a Plastic Man.
That would be cool too.
There's talks about the property of Plastic Man's been taken up. They want to do something with him, but that'll be... There's time for that.
Yeah.
Hellboy trailer should be getting dropped soon.
Hellboy trailer should
I'm
be coming
excited.
soon.
I'm
I'm
so
very
fired up.
excited.
At least within the next week, I think we're getting it.
Yeah?
The rumor has it. In the rumor mills, there's going to be that new Hellboy trailer, which I'm excited to see. Avengers Endgame, that trailer dropped.
That was incredible.
It's already sad.
Yeah,
That trailer makes me
It starts
really
sad, and
well
then
up.
Scott Lang and Ant-Man shows up, and you're like,
saves it in the end.
it's all happy again. It's all
I don't know.
good.
They look pretty sad still.
But everybody's first question, how do you get there?
Yep.
How'd you get there, Scott?
Well,
what are you
have
doing
you-
there?
have you
And now they're
guys
talking
seen
about
that-
time vortexes and all this other
Yeah,
stuff. And it's,
people have zoomed in on that. And it looks like it reads 86.
That's weird.
And have you
weird.
guys heard that they just greenlit pre-production on a Shang-Chi film?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Marvel's
that's cool.
first Asian American superhero. That's
yeah.
going to be exciting.
Very
too. So when they
excited, 'cause
cast
I
that.
love Master.
Dark Phoenix, as we
Dark
talked about,
Phoenix.
that'll be coming soon. They talked
We'll see how
about
that
not
goes.
releasing it. Now they're going to release it. Spider-Man: Far From Home. We should be getting a trailer for that
Very
Tom
soon as
Holland.
well.
very soon. Tom Holland again. New Mutants is a horror film.
That's been up in the air. I don't
Yeah,
know.
But it's
what's going
apparently
on
it's
with
still
that.
getting a release. 2019 is supposed to come out, but it's a horror film. It's like based in an asylum. It's scary.
That's as of Fox's statement.
As of Fox's
and
statement,
come
yep,
the
so.
1st of January, that may change
Yep.
drastically.
Wonder Woman 1984 is coming, so
Yeah.
she goes back in time, and she'll be joining us soon. And I think
She doesn't go back in time.
who knows? She might
goes
go back
forward
in
in
time. She could go back in time if she wants to. She's a princess.
She's
She
Wonder
does
Woman.
what
She's a
she wants.
princess.
She can do what she wants to do. All right, Roger. Again, always a pleasure.
Happy-
Logan, you're gonna have to come back and join us again sometime when we
I'll
need
do
gaps
that.
filled for things that our old minds can't handle.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to our sponsor, not sponsor, Puck Cider. I drank them last time. I don't have any in front of me. We got to get to a lot of these reviews the next time we meet. Maybe we'll review movies on our next one. We always run out of time when we do things.
I mean, you merge
Because
that with Christmas. You
We found a lot of classics. I pulled out my Dead Kennedys. It's live. And it also has the Clio Awards from like 1996.
It's
so
worth
it's
it for that.
some of the best commercials. Yeah, look, it's not even. It's not Pink Floyd The Wall in there.
Oh no.
All right, no, it's very misleading. It's very, very misleading. Oh yeah, we got some other, and you had brought
I
a
just
couple.
want to bring
Oh, which had
Danger
been
Mouse.
Danger.
it had been
Mouse.
redone now on Netflix.
Yes.
Yep.
But the original 1981
What?
British cartoon.
That's awesome.
You know how
So
to pick
fun.
'em.
So fun.
And then we talked about earlier, of course, Jim Carrey as the Mask. You know, that would be in Milo the dog, Milo or Otis. I don't remember his name. I mean, the
Yeah.
face was great.
It looks really fantastic.
That adaptation, perfect for Jim Carrey.
Perfect for Jim Carrey. I was waiting for him to just act a fool for the most part, and then we dropped a book. So yeah, we're gonna get into more stuff like that and do a lot more of these because I'm interested. We got to crack open some VHS and get the VCR rolling. And I got some that are just marked. They say whatever. I don't know what's on them.
Mystery.
It's not what it's supposed to be. It's not right. All right. I'm Uncle Punky. Thanks to my friends at Puck Cider who give us delicious cider every week that I drank last week, so I don't have any samples of. But we're still very appreciative of them. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Tell the world. Give your love about the pop culture.
Tell all your friends. Tell your mom.
And join me.
Send the link for
And
Christmas.
join me and Roger again next week. We're going to talk about, maybe we'll just do a Christmas show. We'll do a quick Christmas countdown on some stuff that have to do with pop culture and the holidays.
Two episodes in, we should do a flashback episode.
Let's recap what we talked about in the last 2 weeks, because people really want to hear that.
Micro machines.
Yeah, we still got to tackle the micro machines. We got to get Tim back in here again for that. So until next time, be safe, have fun, come back, join us. If you don't see us, have a good holiday.